see. Properties. Yep. Everything should be good. Okay, so for all the early birds in the chat, if you could hear me, just give me like a thumbs up or a PogChamp or something. And I'm gonna edit my title. Poggers. Okay, thank you so much. Alright, so 2 games tonight. Big games as well. Gonna be the top half of the standings for both games actually. So in our first game of the night, we will have Chili's Angels versus Andyland. Both teams sitting at 5-2. Andyland did take the first game between them, so currently atop of them on that tiebreaker. So Chili's Angel is going to be looking to even that one up. Meanwhile, in the second game of the night, we have Pokey Card, who are also 5-2, second in the standings based on tiebreakers, owning the tiebreaker over Chili's Angels, but losing out over Andyland, versus Support Diff, who are 4-3, sitting just one win below fourth place in the league. So could start to see some separation at the top here of the standings, or we might just see even more parity, depending on how the results of tonight go. We are scheduled to start in about 2 minutes, so I will check in with both teams shortly. We will get this show on the road. Been a long week off for us here at Do It Big, but trust me, every team here has been hard at work, and can't wait to see what strategies they've been working on over this week and a half break. Gonna do a quick audio check as well, so if you could help me out, Twitch chat. I'm just gonna hop into a practice tool. If you guys can hear game sounds, then we are chilling. So once this gets fired up, just let me know if you guys hear game sounds as well. Okay, so if you guys can hear some Aurelian Soul lines, can maybe hear some game sounds, then I think we are good to go for tonight. So again, if you guys hear game sounds, let me know. Would be very appreciated. Test, test, test. Twitch chat, can you hear Summoner's Rift sounds? Okay, Twitch chat is ignoring me. Alright. I'm gonna hop into each team chat now and check in. Hopefully they are all ready to go and not in game or anything like that. Hello, gamers. Hello. Alright. You guys aren't in game or anything, are you? Okay, very nice. How punctual of you. Do any one of you have the stream open by chance and can tell me if you guys are hearing game sounds? Okay. Lol. True. Okay. Uh, do you guys don't hear any game sounds? Fuck. Well, the loading screen, yeah, the loading screen is whatever. I just need to know if you guys hear game sounds. Uh, That's gonna be annoying. Let me So no desktop audio. That's not good. Properties.
I mean, if it's picking up Discord
Okay, okay. How
audio,
about now? How about now? Can you guys hear yourselves and hear desktop audio? So
yeah, I
game
can.
sound.
I can hear the ambient music.
Okay, good. And you can hear
Cool.
yourselves on Discord as well, yeah?
Yeah. I
Perfect.
could hear that the whole time.
Okay, sick. All right, we are chilling then, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you guys made the lobby yet, by any chance?
No.
Okay. Um, if you guys could do that, that would actually let me check in with Andyland.
Okay.
Hello, gamers.
Hello, gamer.
Hello, hello, hello. Are you guys
Yeah,
ready?
we're in the lobby. We're waiting.
Oh, okay, cool. Can you invite me?
Okay.
Can't.
Can you not invite Charles?
Okay.
Like, make them find the Valify link on their own and get in here.
That's kind of messed up, but all right. Okay. I will invite Clovis though. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay. All right.
And if Clovis invites them, I guess that's okay too.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck. Think about who you guys are sending up for pregame, and yeah, we'll talk soon. Okay. So we are lit. The audio seems to be all good. We're going to get both teams rolling into the pregame lobby here for Chili's Angels on the left side versus Andyland on the right side. Tonight I'm joined by Clovis Civillock Wong. Welcome, Clovis. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm excited to get back in the swing of things.
Indeed. The beginning of the second round robin, excuse me. And should hopefully be a good contest tonight between two teams sitting at the top of the standings. So, yeah. Hopefully we get a lot more of an action-packed game than their first contest, which nearly put me asleep.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see tonight's match, which will definitely not put anyone to sleep because this is a highly contentious match between two of our tied for first place teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely excited to see what the outcome will be. This has big implications for the standings. Last time these teams encountered one another, Andyland walked away with the win, but it was a pretty big nail biter. Most notably,
Was it
Joshi
though?
was.
Was it?
I think so. I was a little surprised because one thing that really stood out to me is Joshi really underperforming on the Swain, and there were two really critical mid-game picks. Fortunately, there wasn't a big conversion, but I was really worried there in the mid-game. Let's see if either of these teams have cleaned up their macro, and I'm excited to watch the better team win tonight.
True. Yeah, I think you and I have different memories of that game. I remember it being a slow march towards the inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, it was part of it was because it was such an asymmetric game, right? Is that the Andyland team had to be faster and had to run away with the game. So like it looked kind of one-sided, sure, and like they correctly snowballed their lead. But if they actually lose just one or two more fights, they just lose the game to Kale.
Oh, for
so
sure.
I think it was a closer game than it may have looked on the scoreboard. That's my take.
Gotcha. Okay, well, Andy told me not to invite Charles, but I don't think Charles is going to take the initiative and join the lobby himself via the link. So I'm just going to start inviting people now because ultimately we should get going very, very soon. So gonna start inviting Chili's Angels to the lobby. There we go. Where is Rahul? Huh? There he is. Okay. So we do have both teams in here now. Let's see here. Gotta make sure I open up my dashboard so we can set up the bets for tonight as well. So yeah, we're gonna let both these teams get a little bit organized here in terms of their pick order and whatnot. Also waiting on Helen to join, and then we will get our first round of interviews. Should be exciting as well.
Yeah, should be exciting. And shout out to Andyland for stacking in LCS order. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it looks like Chili's Angel is going to return the favor here. So
All right. See, this is how you know you're a contender for the first place team. If you can't even stack in LCS order, like, are you even playing Champion Select correctly? Like,
exactly. It's just loss at Champion
Select. This is where it starts. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it seems like Akuji and Amiza are going to be joining us on the desk here rather than joining the game. But while they get that sorted out, I'm going to also ask for the interview candidates. Do you have any questions that you're burning to ask?
I mean, I personally would love to see Rahul and Joshi on here. Are we getting captains? Is that the interviews?
I think we're going to keep it to just, team's choice. So I don't know who's coming up.
They pick? All right,
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to hear what people think about flex picks. I think that would be a good question.
Okay. All right. We'll leave that to you. Let's see who they send up here. Okay. All right. So Charles is going to be representing Chili's Angels. We have the captain of Chili's Angels in here. See if it's returned by the captain of Andyland, aka Andy, aka Mr. Chunks. And it will not. It will be Joshi. So welcome to Joshi.
Oh, shit. Wait, hold on. I've been kidnapped.
Oh, I didn't kidnap you. Wait, who kidnapped you?
I did. I kidnapped myself.
I don't think that's how that works, Joshi.
Are you holding yourself hostage for ransom?
Yeah. It's unclear who's gonna pay it, so.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, welcome to both interview candidates here as we kick off the second round robin. Representing Chili's Angels, we have Chili 5. Representing Andyland, we have Joshi. As always, we will give the first question over to the blue-sided team. So, Charles, you and Andyland tied at the top of the standings at 5-2. How are you guys going to reverse the result from your guys' previous matchup?
We're gonna win.
Oh, okay. Is that how it works?
That's how it works. Yeah.
All
but
right.
I also have something prepared.
Oh, of course you do.
But what if we're gonna win?
But you're not. That's the problem because we can't both win. So obviously we need to win.
It seems we have reached an impasse here, Charles.
Looks like we'll have to duel it out on the Rift.
Indeed.
As a Bayesian, there's only two outcomes. So as far as I can tell, you each have a 50% chance to win the game.
Oh, you're an Asian?
That Bayesian. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
We're gonna keep moving on with this.
I got you. I thought it was Bayesian.
It's probably Bayesian.
It is Bayesian.
Okay.
All right. I have something prepared.
Hold on.
This was a great
Hold on. I want to give Joshi the opportunity to get, say what he wants to say before he gets the mental debuff that is hearing a Charles speech. So, Joshi, prepare yourself first of all for whatever Charles is about to come up with. But Clovis here brought up an interesting point while we were just talking here about flex picks. So
how do you feel about them?
Yeah, how do you feel about flex picks?
What are your thoughts on flex picks?
In general, or is there a specific flex pick?
In general, just how do you feel about it?
Yeah. They're pretty good. They allow you to hide a lot of things from the other team. Too bad most teams don't have them in this tournament.
Yeah. In fact, I've noticed some resistance to learning flexible champions from different teams because they're afraid that they'll just have two champions banned in one ban.
It's true.
And because of the limited champion pools, I think that has been a prohibiting factor. But I was just curious.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give. I've already given Clovis his advice, and I know he's passed it on. But please ban Zach because I don't want to play him because he's boring as he's so fucking boring. But he will also gap everything that Rahul plays.
Ooh, a bold claim from Joshua Joshi Howard himself.
Unless we're the ones playing Zach, eh?
Oh,
A?
true. I
A?
dare you.
A? Okay. Alright. Alright, Twitch chat. I've given you enough time to prepare yourself. Charles, hit us with it.
All right, so I originally prepared this expecting Andy to come up in the interview desk, so this is a little bit awkward. But
Yeah, you
Andy,
can just.
this is
I'll
for
put on a
you.
wig. You can pretend I'm Andy.
This one's a shout out to Andy.
I think you have more hair than Andy does
All
at
right.
this stage.
This one is for the patch with the Abyssal Scepter, top down ADC with the Vampiric Scepter. When he come up in the lane, he be blazing up, got stacks on the deck like he's saving up. And he chill, he real, he might got a kill, he pops autos and he got the right kind of build. He cold, he dope, he might sell coal, he always in the lead and he never need a coach. That's as far as I got.
Okay, okay. So I was not expecting the league version of a fucking Nicki Minaj verse from fucking Super Bass. Holy
feel inspired.
shit! All right, damn. Yeah, Andy should have been here for that for sure. For some reason that song just really resonates with Mr. Chunks here. Wow, Charles. You should definitely get in the studio and record that. No cap.
Uh,
No cap. No cap.
I hope he saw that. I hope he saw that. Oh, he loved it. He loved it.
Hey, okay. Well, with that, let's get into the game, shall we? So I'll let you guys both go back to your teams. Good luck. We
luck.
should
All right,
start
good luck.
getting into Champion Select very soon. All right. Wow. Definitely was not expecting Nicki Minaj to grace us tonight on the cast. But what a way
Yeah,
to
that
start
was-
off the second round robin here.
Yeah, kicking off with a banger, and I think we're just about ready to load up into the Rift.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess into Champion Select, the place you go before you load on Summoner's Rift.
Exactly. So, Clovis, what are you hoping to see from either the teams or just in terms of the game? What are you hoping to see tonight?
Well, I mean, we'll start off with the giant green blob in the room. Is that Joshi has threatened us with this Zac, and I'm kind of here to see it. Like, it does make sense, I can imagine that Joshi's thinking Zac is a tank who beats other tanks, has really good matchups because of that sustain advantage, bullies out those other champions while being a more useful threat, has the Conquer to sustain and ramp up that damage, so potentially a really threatening option here. I wonder if Chili's Angels has something prepared for that. Do they have an answer? Or, will they have to ban it? I just want to know what's going to happen next. I'm at a loss as much as anyone else here.
Yeah, I am also at a loss because when I think of top lane champions, I definitely do not think of Zac, nor when I think of power picks do I think of Zac. So,
yeah, it did have a bit of a stint last season in Korea. The Conqueror Zac
ooh.
saw a lot of play using Sunfire Cape, and the fact that he has manaless sustain to really great effect, right? He shoves the wave, it's really non-interactive. He has really bad bruiser matchups because anyone who can lifesteal tank against him just annihilates him. He just stacks health and doesn't do enough damage to kill you. But against other tanks, you just keep fighting, and even if you're not dying, you're just using your mana, and Zac is just like, haha, I will pick up my blobs as a manaless champion and continue shoving the wave, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And of course, you do get Elastic Slingshot on your team, an amazing spell.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, we saw this also in early League of Legends back, I want to say in Season 2, Season 3 when Zac first came out. But back then, his Q was just a linear skill shot that hit everything. So he had a lot of easy wave clear and harass, but nowadays it's been changed into that skill shot that then turns into a modified auto attack. So will be interesting to see that dueling potential in the top lane.
Yeah, I do believe that Zac top maxes W for that sustained damage. So you just kind of walk at them, start splatting, and then you pick up your blobs. So Zac's spells are not that interesting, but what becomes really important is that blob minigame. Basically you're playing the Poppy passive minigame, but every 4 seconds.
Yep.
So if Zac outplays you and picks up all the blobs, you'll just be at full health the entire fight and you'll die. But if you pick up all the blobs, then Zac is really sad. So it's quite skill expressive.
Yeah, that was going to be the thing that I mentioned next was just we'll see how, if Zac does come to pass, if the blobs do get picked up by himself or by the opposing laner. Obviously, that will be the source of his sustain. Otherwise, he'll literally start killing himself with his spell casts.
Indeed.
But if he does pick them up, expect to see a lot of splatting. With each blob picked up, it'll also reduce his W cooldown by 1 second. So can be a lot of burst potential that people don't expect.
Let me take a look at these bans. Ooh, we got the Malzahar ban taken away, probably a Joshi champion. So, speaking of flex pick champions, we also have flex pick players, which both of those invite pretty different strategies. And Andyland is a team that's shown they are very willing to flip Joshi and Gordo Lee around. So the Malzahar is going to imply that they want to force Josh in the top lane, which is interesting given that they have already been threatened by this Zac. Nocturnal is going to be taken away, and interesting, the Gnar being taken as well. So they really want to pigeonhole Joshi, I guess, into the Zac. Which again is strange because they've been Malphite, a very weak champion against Zac. So I wonder how much psychological warfare is going on here. Neither team is really playing around the Zac pick at all at this point, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see if it ends up just being banter, or if the Zac does end up being let through. Okay, so it is an option. Thus far.
Yeah, I think to keep in mind.
There is that obligatory Seraphine ban.
Yep, that's just a perennial pick. It's been nerfed several times. It's still quite strong, I think, but at least in this tournament metagame, Seraphine has just been wildly popular across every single team. Either your mid laner or your support plays it, so it's just contested every game. They don't want to give it first pick, so it's taken away. And it's going to be the Ashe locked in from the blue side.
Indeed. Okay, yeah, so Seraphine, not just a perennial strong pick, but also, Charles has played a mean Seraphine throughout much of the end of Season 10, beginning of Season 11, so a respect man as well. Will be interesting to see if he ever gets that champion through this tournament.
See, Dr. Mundo hovered and locked in. So keep in mind, we are playing on the new patch today, which means that jungle experience is a little bit lower. I think, somewhat surprisingly, that hasn't necessarily hurt every farming jungler. I think the assumption you make is like, oh, jungle EXP is lower, it's a gank meta, but that's not exactly what happened, right? Because the jungle camps still give you the same amount of gold. So on champions like Dr. Mundo or Karthus, like, sure, you're down levels.
They give you a little bit less gold. A little bit less gold and a little bit less XP. So
right.
What it's done is it's essentially made it so that if you just power farm, you won't be at the same gold level or EXP level after 2 or 3 clears. That's more of a snowball effect, but the early game is pretty much exactly the same in terms of breakpoints. You're still able to hit level 3 off of 3 camps, level 4 off of 6 camps, and the HP buffs to some of the camps have not really hampered the clear speed that much, about 2 to 3 seconds higher than before. So this early game should play out the same. But yeah, like you said, it hasn't impacted farming junglers in the sense that they can still technically just power farm. But what I think the changes reward are junglers that are able to adapt based on the game conditions and insert themselves into lanes rather than just continually power farming, because they will be weaker than they are used to.
Yeah, you get about 30 or 40 less gold off of your full clear. So that's about like 2-3 melee minions. But notably, crabs have not been affected.
Yep.
And also, we actually saw champions like Karthus and like Dr. Mundo actually do extremely well this patch, which I think was a big surprise if you're looking over the patch data. And I think a big part of that is, like you said, the way it affects snowballing. Is like, sure, you're playing this farm jungler, but if there's less golden experience in the jungle, the enemy jungler is going to have less resources to bully you with, right? So paradoxically, like, some farming junglers actually came out pretty good with this patch, and Dr. Mundo is definitely one of them. Turning to the draft, we see the Ashe, Zyra, Jarvan coming on the blue side. Pretty flexible. They have a strong bot lane duo. They have damage, they have Cataclysm for engage, and on the other side we see Jinx, Soraka, Mundo. So both of these team comps already showing a lot of potential options, but not really hard committing into a one strategy yet.
Yeah, a lot of healing though is coming out from Andyland here with both Dr. Mundo self-healing and just the Soraka general healing. Jinx and Soraka both recipients of buffs, if memory serves, in this latest patch. Jinx now sitting at a whopping 610 base health. So should help her out in this early game against a very poke-heavy duo coming out from Chile's Angels.
Yeah, Andy will have to be careful on this Jinx. There's a lot of threat waiting for him in the form of Ashe Ultimate and then Zyra Root. But Jinx is one of Andy's long-standing favorite champions. And speaking of healing, we had the Vladimir locked in. I'm not sure how I feel about doubling down on this healing strategy. Like, it's going to make healing reduction extremely efficient from Chili's Angels. We'll see if they can pick up a good applicator of the Grievous Wounds.
Okay, so Ornn will be locked in. Now, what's interesting to think about here, if you think about flex picks, Clovis, is Mundo can go in the jungle, can go in the top lane. So there's no guarantee that this Vlad will be mid or top here. There's no guarantee that Mundo will be laning either.
That's true. We don't know for sure. I think Mundo's definitely stronger in the jungle than he is in the top lane, but Josh definitely.
We are going down to the wire here. I want to say that that's a
I can't imagine
pick.
that's a real Yasuo. Yeah.
Gonna keep an eye on the announcements. Yeah, Yasuo is Yone. Okay, so that was expected. Wombo combo.
Yeah. They have the Yone to combo off of Enchanted Crystal Arrow, off of Ornal Pit, so there's big team fighting, big engaged tools, or they are going to be engaging into a Mundo and a Vladimir. And it's going to be the Shen Hubbard. If that is real, that implies Mundo jungle, Vladimir mid. And I also
we could see River Shen. We could see River Shen. You never know.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
I would love to see a River Shen come out here.
Based on what I know about Pawpaw, I think Pawpaw is a player who does like to farm. And because of that, I think Mundo is kind of a naturally good fit for the players. And I know Joshi does have very solid Shen, so
yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, personally, the River Shen playstyle is just really funny to me. But yeah,
he can actually clear camps now. His taunt hits jungle creeps.
That and his Q actually makes him remarkably good at killing single target camps. So
very true, very true.
Yeah, he destroys Gromp, destroys the buffs, and has just marginally enough AOE to get through wolves and Krugs. It does not like the Raptor camp, obviously. Not a lot of strong AoE options, but you're probably right. It's probably going to be top Shen, Mundo jungle. Mundo jungle much easier to execute, I think, than jungle Shen, which was popularized by Spica from LCS for about a month, and then people were like, "Oh, this is really hard to play."
Yeah, I think it was definitely strong back then, specifically because Shen was also played in the top lane, and like if you're a psychopath, you could flex into support too if your support player was a god.
Right.
And the fact that you could put it into any one of those roles meant that blinding Shen was very safe, because normally Shen can be really brutally counterpicked in the top lane. But when it's like they counterpick you and you're like, well, he's jungle now. What are you going to do about it? Like, that gives it a lot of kind of intangible power, right? Like the champion is not stronger, but you guarantee yourself good matchups, and that's really valuable.
Definitely. Yeah, there's the power of that flex pick. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, so with both teams officially locked in, the first bet of the night is live. So put up those channel points. I want to see at least 50k put up on both sides here. I want to see a lot of money changing hands tonight. So should be relatively even odds, I feel like. So we're gonna let some early bets roll in first, Clovis, and then I want to get your prediction. But let's not sway the viewers just yet. All right.
So taking a look at these team compositions, see a really different flavor from both sides. So Andyland is running this kind of very slow, kind of meatball-oriented team composition. They don't have like a super solid go-in button. They just have like, well, we're going to walk into you with Dr. Mundo and Shen Ultimate, and then we're going to start casting Soraka healing. So like, if these fights go long, Andyland is a huge advantage because they just have so much redundant sustain. And on top of that, they have the Shen Ultimate to protect any attempt to kill Soraka, who is paradoxically probably the most important person on that team. Like, you have to kill Soraka on that team. Like, she is going to do more healing than your AD carry does damage.
Right.
So it's all going to be around protecting Soraka. On the other side, we see none of that healing going on. We see 5 engage duels. You have Ornn Ultimate, Jarvan Cataclysm, Yone Ultimate, Ash Enchanted Crystal, Era, and the Zyra ult. So it's just, they want to one-shot someone, and they want to do it fast, and they want to keep you there. So I actually expect this game to be super volatile, because if Chili's Angels has enough damage to one-shot any member through the healing, they're just going to force engage over and over again. There's nothing Andyland can do to stop them from getting engaged on. On the other hand, if Andyland gets ahead, then they can just walk into you with Mundo Vladimir, and you can't kill them.
Right.
So
yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to keep an eye on this Vlad. Obviously, a lot of AoE ultimates coming out from Chili's Angels, but that Sanguine Pool going to do a lot of work if timed properly. The only real counterplay I can see coming out from Chili's Angels will be the Cataclysm from Jarvan, as Vladimir cannot go through terrain with his pool. So if Jarvan is able to cage up the Vlad, then Vlad will not be able to get onto this very, very squishy backline of Ashe and Zyra. But if Vlad has summoners, we would not be surprised to see him take both Ghost and Flash for super maneuverability in these team fights. So if Vlad can get on top of this bot lane of Chili's Angels, he's going to wreak havoc.
yeah, that's true. Vladimir is really threatening for this backline, and without their backline staying alive, they don't have a good way to kill Mundo. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually get those flanks or get those engages off, because they have to run into Ashe Zyra, which is not that fun. So I think watching those flanks and watching that side lane control is going to matter a lot, right? If Vladimir is in position behind, and then gets a free Hemoblake, it's lights out for Akuchi. There's nothing you can do as AD carry once the Hemoblake hits you. It's over. So keep an eye out for those flanks by Gordo Lee and how he's positioning on the map.
So with about a minute left on the spectator delay, Clovis, let's hear it. What are your predictions? Maybe sway some of these bettors that have been holding out here. Already about 40,000 put up. So where are your channel points going to go tonight?
All right, I put all my channel points on Andyland, but I have a very odd reason for this.
Okay.
And it's because I really want Chili's Angels to win.
Oh.
I'm cheering for them. I'm coaching for them.
So you're casting yourself.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is, you could think of it that way, I'm buying insurance. So either my favorite team is going to win, or I'm going to have a shit ton of channel points, excuse my French.
There you go.
So there you go. I'm not a gambling man. I'm buying insurance here.
Indeed.
I'm gonna ensure that no matter what, at the end of this match, I'm gonna be having a good time.
Okay, so well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to load on to the Rift. Just before we do, shout out to Nijun the P, who subscribed with Prime. I'll be honest, I have no idea who you are, but I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Hope you like the content. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to load on to the Rift for Chili's Angels versus Andyland. First game of the second round robin. Should be an absolute pleasure. Let's go.
This is a big match. Last time these teams encountered each other, it was a win for Andyland, so they do have the advantage in the head-to-head. But I'm liking Chili's Angels draft way better this time around. And we'll have to see if that is the difference maker.
Okay. Interesting here in the mid lane, we see a pair of Ignites coming out from both Yone and Vlad, so could be a case of which jungler affects mid first, and really tries to swing the tempo of that lane. Neither Ghost nor Teleport being taken by the Vlad, actually. Which I think is
quite
surprising.
interesting. Both champions are healing champions, so I guess maybe they do want that Ignite for the Grievous wound, so... They do spot out the invade here from Andyland, and it's not really going to turn into anything. I think it's just a push for Vision.
Yep.
Because there's not really any level 1 CC from Andyland unless they commit Taunt Flash into Soraka Silence, which would be a bold statement at level 1.
Yeah, so we do have a ward being dropped here by both teams onto the bot side red buff. Going to be also one ward dropped. Oh, look at that. Basically just a mirror right here and right here.
It's a very nice level 1 from both teams, actually. I'm very happy to see. Pretty smart play, and it's going to give both teams a lot of information about the jungle round.
Yeah, interestingly here, Zyra backed for a sweeper. So
Ooh.
if she is able to walk over to that ward, we'll be able to get just a little bit of an EXP lead. I think it does translate to, yeah, it should translate to Zyra getting a level 2/1 minion earlier.
I'm not sure that's true in the bottom lane. I know that's true for solo lanes, but I think with the EXP share in bottom, it doesn't level you up earlier.
Yeah,
We'll
see.
have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Okay. Both junglers here, by the way, starting on their top sides. So could get a potential meeting here in the bottom river for Crab if both junglers elect to just farm it out before the Crab spawns.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure who that favors. I think Jarvan comes out on the top of an early interaction, not because he actually wins 1v1. I think Mundo actually duels Jarvan if he's healthy. But the fact that Jarvan has high quality CC means that he can much better set up Yone as opposed to this early Vladimir. So that early tempo is going to be really leaning in favor of Chili's Angels.
Now watch this jungle path coming out from Mundo, by the way. I'm pretty sure what he's going to do right now is he's going to clear Krugs and then base and then go towards his bot side. You can see that he started Raptors into red into Krugs. So Mundo gets very, very low on his first clear. Yep, but we see that recall coming in. But actually he clears so fast that he should be able to clear all 6 camps by 3:15.
Yeah, lightning fast clear, and he's going to come out of his base with that extra ruby crystal, so it's not going to help him clear, but he's going to be healthy, and it's getting him closer to that Bomby Cinder. And that'll give him a good opportunity to maybe even challenge for bottom Crab if Jarvan commits to a gank here.
Yep. So there we go.
Gordo Lee laying down the hurt in mid. Chili is taking a lot of poke, walking too far out while the wave is coming in. Doesn't need to take that risk, but it's going to be chunked out quite low here, and it's going to be hard for him to help Jarvan, who is actually mid right now.
Okay, Flag and Drag going to be dodged by the pool here. Let's see if the knockup comes through. Looks like it will not. Okay, just going to be a good amount of burst onto Vlad, taking about half HP. He'll try to slowly regen that back up with his Q. But it will also mean that Mundo gets priority onto this top crab, or bottom crab, excuse me.
Yeah, a bit of a big commitment there from Jarvan. Sure, he gets a lot of damage on Vlad, but it's going to be sustained back up, and the wave isn't really in a position for Gordo to be worried about this. Joshi lurking here on the crab.
Yeah,
this
patient.
Is the Joshi roam.
Indeed. Actually going to get a taunt onto
goodness.
Jarvan. Jarvan going very, very low. Going to flag and drag towards the Ornn here. Now going to be on the retreat. There should be a crab here for free for Mundo. So good play coming out from the Shen, using his early priority to bully Jarvan off of this crab here. Will mean that Jarvan is going to be on now 4 camps while Mundo is on 6 following this crab kill.
Yeah, that is not the early game you want out of Jarvan, but if you are Paw, you are very happy. Your mid laner just absorbs 2 Jarvan ganks. Your top laner roams down to gank Rybikro at the top crab, and Mundo has just had the freest early game of his life. He's going to happily go back to his Krugs, full clear back to Gromp, recall, and be very comfortable in this game. Jarvan, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit nervous here. Had the early game advantage, is now going to be struggling to convert that into a successful gank.
Yeah. Obviously hindsight is 20/20, but what I would have really liked to see Jarvan do is actually play for bot lane in this game. Zyra and Ashe with a ton of CC setup for that flag and drag combo, and both Jinx and Soraka relatively squishy, especially at this early stage in the game. So we'll see if Jarvan tries to use his gank tools bot, as they are very, very susceptible to a gank.
Yeah, I do hope that they commit onto the Soraka instead of the Jinx as well, because Jinx does have cleanse available, but the lack of heal is going to mean this Soraka is very fragile. So if they get that CC on her, she will just be seized rather quickly.
Yeah, Jarvan is sitting here in the lane, by the way.
There's no ward and try, but he's going to get spotted out in the river, and yeah, that's going to signal Andyland a reset.
Okay.
And yep, it looks like Bikro will have to return to his Krugs here.
Indeed, and look at Mundo here just farming up a storm. Beyond the first clear, he has a very, very healthy and still very, very fast clear. So now going to be approximately 4 camps ahead of Jarvan.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of the jungle changes, so if both junglers are farming, sure, Mundo's going to have a little bit less experience and a little bit less money, but I think really the biggest change is the experience. And Mundo's not thrilled about it. Like, no jungler's happy that they're lower level by any means, but having weaker junglers is going to mean that the Gordo will be strong enough to protect Pawpaw, right? The junglers not being accelerated will make it harder for Jarvan to wake up in the mid game and really impact things. And it's going to be an early dragon secure by Andyland. No kills yet, but that is going to
Needs
be...
to be careful, though. This Mundo is going to go very, very low here, and so is Dragon, actually. Looks like time is not available. We're not going to go in. Shen will take a use on Vlad, so there will be a Shen coming in here as well. Yonel going to be first blood, though. Going to pick up the Mundo, but now there's a Shen on top of the Zyra. Zyra going to go down here. Now we're going to get the Jinx resets coming in very, very soon as well. Jarvan going to be slowed here by the Vlad E, but able to flag and drag out just in time. But now there's an Ornn here. Called the Forge out to go out, but now stuck in the pit against 3 members of Andyland. Should go down very, very shortly. Gonna charge boldly to his death and actually almost pick up the Soraka there, but it will be 2 kills and a dragon in favor of Andyland compared to just 1 in favor of Chili's Angels, although that 1 was first blood.
Yeah, Andyland is going to come out very happy of that. And it's not just the 2 kills. This was an expensive play for Chili's Angels. They're going to lose the bottom wave crash here. They expended teleport from Ornn, whereas Shen only committed ultimate. And those 2 things combined are going to make this really extremely advantageous for Andyland. They're already up 1,000 gold. They have the dragon secured. They have tempo. The wave is coming in top lane to a freeze. So it's not just about that fight. That was an extremely expensive play. Andyland spent less and got more.
Interesting here, build-wise coming out from Jarvan, by the way. We're seeing a Bomby Cinder being built. Generally, Jarvans have preferred the Gore Drinker historically, but obviously with the Gore Drinker changes, perhaps electing for more of just an outright tanky Jarvan, as opposed to more bruisery Jarvan.
Yeah, I think so. With that itemization choice, it implies to me, we're going to hold that.
Oh, no, Yona's dead.
Does he have ultimate? No, he does not. Yeah, he's just going to get walked on here.
Okay, so good roam coming up from Andyland's bot lane. Going to pick up the Weeaboo in the mid lane. Now going to mean 3-1 in terms of kills, and an almost 1,500 gold lead.
Yeah, this is a pretty big advantage, and Shen is just going to bully Ornn for pretty much the rest of the game in the 1v1 interaction. Ornn has a much more powerful kit if you are both in the fight together, but if Shen has his game plan go accordingly, that will never happen, because Shen is always going to have better side lane control.
Right.
And I guess we're in this kind of precarious situation for Chili's Angels now. They need to engage, they need to make something happen.
Double Root going to land here. We're going to be followed by the Zyra ulti as well. Looks like Soraka will get knocked up, but that will just be that. I would have liked to see the Asher locked up either Jinx or Soraka on top of the Tangle Thorns, but it will also mean that Mundo now going to be potentially looking for a gank here. And oh no, here we go. Going to come in with the sadism. Ooh, the cleaver does not land though. Actually going to flash in now. Going to be traded for a flash by the Ashe.
Jarvan's here. Can they turn this?
Yeah, the Enchanted Crystal
Arrow.
Looks like it will not be a go call. Yeah, they would have to walk through Mundo, who is full health and double buffed up. So it would still be a very, very difficult task here. For Chili's Angels.
They did have Ignite available, and Mundo did not have ultimate. So I think it was definitely a winning play if they're confident they can land Ash Arrow, but it looks like Akuji would rather hold that spell, maybe try again at a different time. Bit of scrap going on top lane, heavy trade.
Yeah, and Mundo actually going to come back for a return game. Let's see if he's able to be more successful. Lands, ooh, almost landed the cleaver, excuse me. Ooh, but this snare actually going to split the difference between Jinx and Mundo. Not going to be able to snare up either. And now the Mega Death Rocket over the top, going to be able to pick up Zyra there. So now 4-1 in favor of Andyland in the kill department.
Yeah, Gucci does finally commit that ultimate, but unfortunately it's not enough to save Amiza. It is going to get pop there, and this Jinx is 100% KP is going to be extremely accelerated into the mid game, and now has some pretty exciting itemization choices. You can go that Kraken Slayer into Hurricane Eye Edge, and we kind of are back to that old menace of 2-item Jinx spike that we saw in the previous seasons.
Yeah, sitting pretty here at 3-0-1, as well as a decent CS. Meanwhile, going to be a potential solo kill in the top lane, or going to be a forced to use Flash there. Shen did not have Flash to chase down a potential kill there, but it will definitely force Ornn out of lane, and Ornn without teleport either. Ooh, actually,
yeah, it's
Ornn
not just the
around, though.
Yeah, one thing I'm a little concerned of is, like, it's not just that he lives, but he has to spend Flash and loses the wave anyway, and Bright Beaker is going to try and trade it back. Oh, he's level 6. This is a really rough game for this Jarvan. He's having a hard time getting off the ground.
Yeah, definitely a bit of lane kingdom here if you are Andyland. And now going to be aggression in the mid lane as well. That Hemo Plague is going to kill. Oh, that's so sad. And actually, if we look in the top lane here, could also be a potential dive opportunity for Andyland. Ornn still has not recalled.
He can't be there. That's... Okay, Joshi's letting him live. He definitely had the Soul Calendar Tower with Dawn. He knows Ornn's flashless, but Joshi would rather just calm, patient.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to force Ornn home while he crashes yet another wave, denies that farm, and picks up the plate. So I think Joshi knows he can go for that play, but he'd rather just not take the risk, because his team is so far ahead, they just don't need to do anything.
Right.
If the game continues in this fashion, it's going to be a steady win for Andyland. So it's definitely on Chili's Angels to make something happen.
Oh, the Enchanted
quite.
Crystal Arrow going to go wide, but now the double snare going to land. Let's see if the Zyra ulti comes down. The Silence going to do a lot of work. That Soraka going to be forced to flash over the wall. Ooh, that could have been an avenue there for Chili's Angels, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow did not land. And,
yeah, really.
The Zyra ulti did not come down immediately following the snare. I want to say that the Silence came out just in time to prevent that follow-up.
Well, it does mean that 2 members of Andyland are going to be quite chunked out, and especially the Soraka being low makes a big difference.
Going to engage onto Mundo, but now there's going to be a Shen ulti on top of the Mundo as well. This Mundo's still going to go very, very low, however. Ornn ulti over the top is going to be able to almost kill Mundo and Soraka, but still living so far. Going to be Jarvan going down, should be traded for a Shen very, very soon. Ornn going to go very, very low as well. Soraka about 1 HP. The Volley going to be able to pick that one up, and now 3 very low HP members. Jinx going to flash away to safety. Ignite ticking should not be enough there, but thus far 2 for 2. And this Vlad is still lurking around. Okay.
It's a wild, wild fight, but overall, I think Andyland once again just comes out a little bit ahead, because if you take a look at these side lanes, they're really bad for Chili's Angels. The top wave is slow pushing in. Ashe is going to have to reset this wave, and it means Jinx will have tempo back on the map when she comes back out, and that means Andy will be able to help secure the dragon for his team, and I don't think Chili's Angels will be able to challenge for a second time here.
Yeah, Shen did teleport down here to get immediate...
Oh, they're forcing the issue, though.
Okay, so Ornn is going to teleport down here as well, but does not have that call to Forge God. This is going to be a relatively ultimate-less fight if you are Chili's Angels, but we have both the Hemo Plague and the Sadism available, and actually Jarvan going to charge in way too early, going to get chunked out here. It should be taken out very, very soon, but actually going to be a huge 3-man ultimate from Yone, and Soraka's going to go very, very low as well. Infernal Dragon doing his part, actually pretty sure picked up the last hit onto Infernal Dragon, and now going to be a win for Chili's Angels. Jinx Rocket not going to be able to pick up the Ornn, and this Zyra needs to be careful. Oh my goodness, this Zyra just knows her limits. Meanwhile, frontline Ashe going to almost be taken down, and Jinx now going to be able to... Oh no, alright, so the Cork able to Cork Ashe there. Unfortunately for Chili's Angels, not able to find the last hits onto neither Shen nor Jinx. Will mean that they have to retreat and lick their wounds.
No, Andyland win a fight again, but no one comes out the victor. No one claims the dragon, because Andyland's not confident they can do it at that health bar. We're gonna have Dragon Fight Part 3, and you know that bad wave I was talking about for Chili's Angels? They fought for so long, it turned into a good wave. The wave crashed off the tower and is slow pushing back.
Oh my goodness.
So, both of these teams really playing hard for this dragon here. It's quite interesting.
Interesting. Okay, so let's keep an eye on the ultimates again. So Call of Forge God will be available now. The Yone ultimate will not. We do have the Cataclysm. Actually, everybody except Yone should have ultis if they start the dragon here in the next 10 to 15 seconds. Meanwhile, we have every ult available except for Vlad and Mundo on the side of Andyland, but without those 2 crucial ultimates for the jungler and the mid laner, it's going to mean that Chili's Angels are going to be the first ones to start on this Infernal Dragon. Soraka does see this and actually going to walk in and drop a very crucial Silence. Will not have that cooldown available for a potential contest. Now Stand United going to be used on the Vlad here, and looks like it'll just be a retreat call for Chili's Angels. So this dragon, at the end of the day, will finally end up being taken by Andyland. 3rd time is the charm.
Yeah, and Shen has the luxury of using that that ultimate to join the fight, and with the 5v4 situation, Ornn doesn't have teleport, and Chili's Angels is forced to concede that play.
Hold on, no, now going to be Enchanted Crystal Arrow landing onto Soraka. This should be a very, very dead Dryad very, very soon, but now this Jinx is very upset that her support is dead. Mega Death Rock going to be able to pick up the Zyra, now going to reset onto the Ashe, but now there's a Jarvan here. Ooh, does not land the Flag and Drag, but does have the Cataclysm, a couple more autos, should be able to pick that one up, and now Mundo going to flash in for fun.
Yeah, unfortunately doesn't get anything there. If you are maybe a champion with crowd control, you can flash forward, make something happen. Mundo is unfortunately not one of those champions, so it's going to hang out there before he goes back to his jungle. Maybe a little bit of unfamiliarity with the champion, but it's not too expensive. Mundo Flash is not the most important cooldown in the world. And he'll just go do his wolves, I guess.
We saw a good setup there coming out from the bot lane of Chili's Angels here. Double pink ward to set up a potential Soraka pick. So good proactive play here coming out from the bot lane here.
Really happy to see them go on Soraka too instead of Jinx, because Jinx had cleansed the entire time. You can't kill her. But if you go on Soraka, there's no one to save her. And
there might be a potential dive in the top lane here. We see all 5 members of Andyland shifted towards this top lane area. Only Jarvan available for Chili's Angels. See what the play call is going to be from Andyland. Looks to just be a push, actually. So Jinx should be able to take out this very low HP top turret.
Oh, hold that thought.
Maybe not.
Super low.
Okay, this Ornn needs to be careful. These rockets are raining down, and actually the minion is going to be able to take it.
Happen.
Okay.
Ooh, that was scary.
Yeah. All right. So Jinx able to take down that top turret, but not going to be too much more excitement for her. But it will mean a 3,000 gold lead for Andyland.
Yeah, it's interesting to make sense of how this gold lead happened. So if we think about the economy, Andyland was further ahead, but because Andy died, and it gave a massive shutdown to Jarvan, right? It's 900 gold going over the Jarvan. So it's 1k of that 3k gone. And we also see Akuchi getting a lot of alone time at the bottom tower, actually trades the tower back from the topside take. So with that in mind...
Though. There's a Shen here. Ooh, okay,
yeah.
never mind.
I think you gotta walk away from that one. But if we take a look at the economy, I would say Andyland is quite far ahead. And it's not because of the kills, it's not because of the gold lead, it's part of their gold allocation, right? If you take a look at Chili's money, they have it all on Jarvan, right? He got that big shutdown. Ikuji is quite fed as well, but Yone is behind the power curve. And on the other side, Andyland has their 2 carries extremely fed. Vladimir and Jinx are extremely problematic for Chili's Angels comp to deal with, because they need to go in and they need to one-shot backliners with their CC. If Vlad lives through one rotation, or Jinx is able to reposition, then Jinx is just going to reset and kill every single person on their team. So, unfortunately for Chili's Angels, they're going to be fighting against potentially 2 of the worst characters to have money. That being said, if they do pull off their engage successfully, this gold lead is gone, right? Like, it's just one team fight, you get both shutdowns, and then the Magi stacks are off Vladimir. It's horrible.
Going to be engaged onto Vladimir here. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to be flashed away from, but wow. Oh, okay. That was not a good use of Zyra ulti there, unfortunately. But going to be a crucial flash forced out of the Vladimir here. Otherwise, yeah, pretty good. The Cataclysm, unfortunately, not able to stop the Vladimir pool in time. Otherwise, that Vlad might have been dead otherwise.
Yep. It's Zyra ult committed, but I'm pretty sure it's a short cooldown. It will be back before Dragon Spawn, so it's not too expensive to commit there.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, it looks like they're going to be able to force Blood Flash before the Dragon fight, and they exchange it for Zyra Flash. It's a good exchange. So overall, I think if you're Chili's Angels, you're really happy with that, and you can look to commit those resources onto those backliners next fight and see if you can eke away with a kill.
Yeah, what you're not happy about, though, is this 7-1-3 Jinx now sitting on 2 items, Gale Force and Runon's available.
Yeah, that's the 2-item spike. Ugh.
It's going to be a rough one here for Chili's Angels that they do not land their engage options onto Jinx. Although...
Here's the engage. We have the Ornn on the flank here.
Yep.
Will he pull the trigger?
Going to be engaged onto Mundo first. Now Send United going to be used onto Mundo. Mundo going to go very low. Actually going to be taken out before Shen is able to join the fight. And now this Vlad going to be stuck. Going to be knocked up by the Zyra ultimate. Let's see how much she can do here. Actually going to be a pickup onto Ornn. And now the Soraka is in full effect. Shen is here with the teleport. Able to find and engage. Let's see. Yone going to go very low. The Cork lands onto Ashe. Jinx though not going to be too confident. Wow, okay, so unfortunately not enough damage for Chili's Angels onto the Vladimir will mean that Vlad lives and is actually able to pick up 6 more stacks. Enchanted Crystal Arrow gonna land, gonna force the cleanse coming out from the Jinx, and now though gonna be followed by Fatal Seal, but it will be Yon that has his fate sealed here by the return fire from Andyland, though Ashe is not done just yet, able to pick up the Soraka, but now this Jinx, no crit unfortunately, will mean that the Ashe lives, and Ashe able to pick up the Shen, now gonna be the Ornn teleporting into both a Vlad and a Jinx, however, this Ornn needs to be very gonna be forced to flash over the wall, this Vlad is not done just yet. Okay, actually is done. Oh my goodness. This Vlad, now with 15 stacks on the Magi's, it has a ton of presence in these team fights.
These teams don't want to give you a break for the play-by-play, and we might see an attempted steal here. No, it's not going to be it, and I think we're going to disengage this. Surely the teams will stop fighting for just a moment so that we can take a breath here, Roger. And okay, it's over. It's over. We're farming. We're going back home. We're buying items. Whew, and that is third dragon for Andyland. They are on that soul point for that next fight.
Indeed. Okay, so at the end of the day, Chili's Angels not able to find conclusive team fight wins has translated into both the Infernal and the Cloud Dragon for Andyland. And unfortunately, like you said, it will put them on that Cloud Soul point. If you're Chili's Angels, you really like Cloud Dragon this game as you are a very ultimate based comp, but unfortunately have not been able to pick any of those up just yet.
Yeah, still waiting on those. And really big is that because of the gold allocation, we see Ikuchi kind of lagging behind Mr. Chunks. Like, sure, he's not inherently behind, but unfortunately, because of how accelerated this Jinx is working on eye edge while Ikuchi is still finishing that second item and had to stop for healing reduction, which is really just quite unfortunate. Keep in mind that it's not just the goalie here, but because 3, 4, actually all
Zyro
5 members
so
of Chili's
much
Angels.
damage, and Jinx and Gale Force in. The Sadems gets used as well. Mega Death Rock not going to be able to find out damage. Stand United over the top as well. Onto the Mundo. Mundo now going to flash in just a little bit late. Cataclysm, though, will be able to lock up Jarvan, unfortunately. Okay, so good engage here coming out from Andyland, and this Jarvan sitting only on a Sunfire and Bramble, not going to be able to stand up to this output from Andyland at this stage in the game. Could potentially translate to a Baron. It should be a Baron, yep. No hint of a contest coming out from Chili's Angels.
Little bit of a tragedy there at Blue Buff. They accidentally leash it, but they turn their sights on the more important objective, the Baron, and they're just going to burn that down. I do like that Chili's Angels is not challenging this because there's no point. You just feed into extra kills. And instead, they are counter pushing in mid and bottom lane, right? They're trading something back. You don't have to, there's no rule that says you have to watch your opponent take objectives. You could just do something else useful, and that's exactly what Chili's Angels do. That's what they need to do to get back in this game, is get golden experience back on their members so they can start exerting dive threat on the backliners. They need to be able to one-shot this Jinx. If Jinx lives through the fight, it's just over because she's going to reset on the front line and then kill the rest of your team.
Yeah. So we'll see where this Baron power play decides to go. Very, very low HP mid turret here, courtesy of that Rift Herald charge. Could just mean an ARAM call coming out from Andyland. Meanwhile, if you're Chili's Angels here, while they are not grouped just yet, it still is a decent opportunity to set up a pick with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but looks to be just vision clearing coming out from Andyland or from Chili's Angels here.
Yeah, they're going ahead and play a kind of slow setup here for the Baron, and I think that makes sense from both teams. Strategically, there's not really a reason for either of them to fight yet. Chili's Angels needs to wait and then see if Andyland overcommits onto a tower take. When that happens, they can try to turn with their ultimate combo, but unfortunately, they can't really afford to commit cooldowns onto Dr. Mundo anymore. They've been killing him every fight, but unfortunately, they have nothing left afterward for Mr. Chunks or for Gordo Lee afterward.
Yeah. Alright, so this mid push thus far has been pretty unchallenged coming out from... Hold on, going to be a potential engage. Yon is on the bot side. Ornn is here as well. Let's see if the Yon ultimate gets used over the top. Okay, nope. Will be a feint of an engage.
Ooh.
But now they need to be careful. The Stadium does get popped, as does the Stand United. Let's see. The Ornhorn not going to be able to get sent out here. And now the Yodel is going to be dodged as well by the Jinx. This Jinx going to be firing away. Going to be able to live. And now this will be a team-wide ace. That will be the game, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. So a huge team fight here on the doorsteps of Chili's Angels base. With all 5 members still alive for Andyland and Baron Buff as well. This will mean that Andyland conclusively takes top spot at the top of the standings in Season 2. GG.
Yeah, they do take that top spot for now, but it may be short-lived because our other tied team for first place, Pokey Card, is going to get another match tonight. So they will have an opportunity to challenge that tie for first place.
Indeed. So we will have a shot at another tiebreaker at the top of the standings. So we'll keep an eye on that. But meanwhile, congratulations to Andyland for coming out on top here. I want to take one last look at this final team fight. It's a game of almosts. If you look at this engage here coming out from Chili's Angels, they were almost able to kill Jinx. But honestly, this Vlad was untouched, so it probably wouldn't have mattered. But if we look here, Yone ultimate gonna miss Jinx by a pixel. Honestly, with how bugged that ultimate hitbox looks, I thought it would hit. But unable to find the Jinx, this Vlad started the fight with just as much, or ended the fight with just as much HP as he started it with. Gonna translate to that final win for Andyland. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't have the damage to seal out those picks.
Okay, so with that, let's hear from Andyland here, and we're gonna see who they decide to send up to the interview desk. Or actually, I guess, is there anyone you would particularly like to hear from? Clovis?
Yeah, I guess I would like to hear from Andy with that really excellent Jinx performance. I think that would be a good one.
Okay, cool. I want to hear from Gordo as well on the Vlad. And then I also want to point out, actually, that Andyland were the underdogs, although not by much, in the betting. So it was 55-45 in favor of Chili's Angels, which will mean that Jeff wins again. I'm pretty sure Jeff has like upwards of 50, if not 100,000 points at this stage. This man does not miss. But congratulations to Jeff, Pog Player, and everybody else who put their channel points on Andyland. Meanwhile, we have the victorious mid laner and AD carry for Andyland here on the interview desk. Clovis, I think it'd be good for you to ask Andy about this last game.
Yeah, Andy, a spectacular performance on the freshly buffed Jinx. I know this is one of your signature historic champions. How do you feel about playing one of your old classics?
Oh, I feel great. I played an ARAM this morning with Roger, and it made me feel really strong. So it's the extra motivation I needed to pick it.
Nice, getting a little bit of that team fight practice in on the Howling Abyss. I guess another question I have for you is that you guys were actually the underdogs going into this game based on the betting. That quickly turned around, I think, based on the pace of this game. We had some pretty exciting fights, but it looks like Andyland is really back on form. You are ahead in head-to-head tiebreakers against the first place teams, but you had a bit of a slump near the back half of the first round robin, dropping games to honestly pretty surprising matchups. Would you say Andyland's back in the thing of things? Was there a bit of a slump? What was going on over there?
Those were off games. No one can beat our team unless we beat ourselves, and we beat ourselves those games.
Okay, so maybe playing down to the competition a little bit for Andyland. Actually, both teams you guys lost to were teams with losing records at this stage, so pretty interesting. Maybe you turn up against the best. All right.
You know, steal from the rich, give to the poor. So
indeed.
Team after my own heart.
We have Gordo Lee here as well on the Vlad. I saw it. I saw the Magi's buy before you even finished your Mythic. So what gave you the confidence to know that you weren't going to be killed that game, Gordo?
Well, Vladimir is a comfort pick for me just as much as Jinx is for Andy. So we were all kind of on our signature champs that game. And just judging from the early game, that game, Charles wasn't really looking to fight me at all. So I felt pretty safe just farming up, getting those stacks on Magi's, looking for safe fights, and, just looking to scale up so that I can blow them up in the late game, as Vlad always does.
Yeah, but even before the late game, you were able to pick up an early solo kill against the Yone. Do you have anything to say to your lane opponent?
Don't try to solo kill me. He initiated that fight.
Did he really?
He did.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't try to solo kill Gordo or just Vlad in general?
Gordo.
Oh, okay. All right. Don't try to solo kill Gordo is the proclamation coming out. Okay. Well, thank you to Andyland. Congratulations on your guys' victory. It will at least temporarily put you at the top of the standings. Actually, even if Pokecard wins, you guys still own the head-to-head for now. So it will ensure that you guys are at the top at the end of the night. But we are now going to get ready for game 2 between Pokecard and Support Diff. Thank you guys.
Alright, thanks, Roger.
Yeah. Alright, take a look at the damage charts here. Actually, both AD carries leading the charge for their respective teams. And Zyra did more damage than Vlad. Not something I was expecting, although obviously the plant's going to hit Mundo and Shen for a lot of free poke. Shen actually was the second highest damage for Andyland. Just a hair ahead of the Vlad. So pretty interesting stuff there.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, congratulations to Andyland. They secure their first place spot once again, but again, we'll have to see if that is short-lived as we roll up into Pokecard versus Support Diff.
Indeed.
Any predictions for our next match?
Not just yet, no. I'm going to check in with both teams, take their temperature, and then I'll feel a little bit more confident. So I'll be
Sounds
right back.
good, Roger.
Okay.
On the move, right?
Hello. You guys are on
Hello.
the stream. How's it going, gamers?
We
are
doing
listening to your analysis of the post game.
Ah, okay, very nice.
Oh,
are you guys ready for your game?
Yes.
Oh, okay, very nice. Is there a chance that you guys have the lobby set up?
Nope.
Smooch.
I
Okay.
can set it up though.
Okay, I'm gonna check in with Support Diff, and if they haven't set it up, then Joel, if you could get that going, that would be very heavily appreciated.
Sure.
All right. Hello, gamers.
Hello,
Hello.
Rangerino.
Hey, it's
Good morning.
me. Good morning.
Good morning.
What are you in China? Okay, are you guys ready?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There wouldn't be a lobby already set up, right?
I can make it.
No, it's okay. I think Joel's making it, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I just wanted to check in. Okay, cool. All right. And also make sure you think about your interview candidate as well. Hee. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get the lobby set up. And then we're gonna get rolling for game 2. So couple shout outs here to the Paw Pussy Posse. I did not acknowledge you guys that game. I apologize for that, but I appreciate that you guys are always out in full force supporting your boy. That Mundo was an absolute presence, maybe not menace, but definitely a presence in that game. So good performance coming out from Paw. And just the rest of the viewers for just consistently showing up and supporting these teams means a lot to us here in the Do It Big community. Okay, so we're gonna get this lobby set up. It will be Pokecard on blue side, and it will be Support Diff on red side. Should be fun. Okay, give me a second here. I'm gonna change the text. So blue team is pissing. Red team. Okay. Now Clovis, you had previously asked me any sort of predictions for this game. Gonna be hard to say. I think it's predicated for support diff on which champion Bao gets his hands on. I think in the last game before the break, he reminded everybody why you should always ban Wukong against him, as he popped off versus Double Jungle Gap. So would not be surprised to see triple bans aimed towards Bao, or at least the obligatory Wukong Vladimir Swain ban that has been the custom for support diff. But that does leave someone like a Viego available. So if Bao can get one of those hyper carries, I could see him popping off. Meanwhile, for Pokey card, we've seen a lot of innovation coming out, I think. Zillion, Vigar in the mid lane for Florzol has really thrown a lot of wrenches into a lot of these teams' plans. I don't think they're accustomed to seeing, a 5,000 mile an hour Nasus just caning people and then dying and then going 5,000 miles again from the dead. So it's going to be interesting to see what they've been labbing during this week and a half break. I very slightly want to give the edge over to Pokecard, but it's very slight.
Yeah, I think they're definitely the favorite just going by the standings, since they are presently second place, tied for first place as of an hour ago. And I think the matchup I definitely want to highlight here is the top lane, right? We all know that Bao Bao is kind of the superstar on his team. Not necessarily that he's the most important, but he's where the resources kind of go around, right?
Right.
Whether or not your superstar shines and whether it makes or breaks the game, oftentimes is way more about how they're supporting cast plays around them than their own individual play, right? But he's definitely where the resources end up going. That being said, on the flip side on Pokecard, right, we've seen Agent SA really grow throughout this tournament. He had a bit of a rough start at the beginning of the split, had some rough games, but really coming back and looks to be one of the strongest top laners in this tournament, honestly, like based on his play. He's not necessarily a player who like styles on you, solo kills you a level 3 kind of player, but he's extremely stable, has a very deep and diverse champion pool, something unique. I think really rivaled only by Joshi in terms of the depth of champions he can play. And I think that gives Pokecard a big strategic edge in the draft. They know that Agent SA can play a lot of different matchups, he'll be safe, he'll secure his farm, and he'll show up to team fights in a big way.
Yeah, so that unpredictability factor I think is going to be interesting coming out from Pokecard. But with that, let's hear from both teams as we get ready for Game 2 of the night. Interviewees. Oh, whoa. All right. Do you have any burning questions for either of these teams, Clovis?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Nothing reaching out for me.
All right, so we're gonna grab. Looks like Pokecard here gonna send up their mascot, aka Pokey. I'm gonna drag her into this chat as soon as we hear from support diff as well. But we are not hearing from them thus far. Alright, we're just gonna drag Pokey. Hi, Lucy.
I didn't agree to this.
Unfortunately, it was a team decision. Everybody in the league has obligatory media days
Okay.
It will be Mo representing Support Diff. So welcome to both interview candidates from the teams. We have representing Pokey Card, it will be the eponymous Pokey. Meanwhile, for Support Diff, it will be represented by their jungler, aka Ine, aka Mo. Okay, so first question here, gonna go to a very reluctant Lucy. I want to ask you for your version of what it means to play the Pokey card, Lucy, as you know so well.
Yeah, I'm going to bail.
You're gonna bail?
And we'll put someone in, and it'll be great.
Okay, unfortunately, we're not going to give you that option in this interview. What we are going to ask you about, though, is your team, I think, has shown a lot of diversity in your playstyles. So I'm curious, have you guys been trying to cook up anything new in preparation for the second round robin, or is it more of sticking to what has worked for you guys thus far?
I think Joel has a wide variety of champions to choose from, so I think you guys will be surprised.
We're gonna be surprised. Okay.
Yes.
I'm excited. I want to be surprised. Okay. Meanwhile, for Mo, you guys are sitting at 4-3 with a potential win tonight. Will be level on record with both PokeCard and Chili's Angels. So what have you guys been doing during this sort of mid-season break to prepare for this upcoming series of games?
We've been playing a lot of Genshin Impact, rolling a lot.
Okay.
But
Did you hit?
back on the Rift, we've been experimenting with some different gameplay tactics, so you'll definitely be seeing that tonight.
Different gameplay tactics. Okay. We'll see if, the roles are good for Support Diff. Clovis, do you have any closing thoughts for either of these teams or these interview candidates?
Well, I guess I'm definitely excited to see more of Ine's special tactics on the Rift. So
yeah.
I expect big things from this game. We'll have to see what happens next, because you never know what will happen next and do it big.
Indeed. All right. So with that, then we'll let both of you guys go back to your respective teams. Thank you for your time and good luck. You guys can start whenever you're ready.
You.
All righty. So we have PokeCard versus different gameplay tactics. Will be interesting to see who comes out on top. Now, Clovis, I previously said, I give the slight edge over to PokeCard. What about your personal analysis?
Yeah, I guess going into this, I'm pretty much have a really strong edge to PokeCard here. I think they're the favorite by the standings, of course. I believe they are up in the head-to-head. They did beat this team the last go-around. And I think just their strategic depth is a lot higher. So I don't necessarily think they're like individually better players, but I think they're a more cohesive team. And because they are more dynamic, they have a lot more options, and they've shown us a really diverse playstyle. I think that will be challenging for Support Diff, because Support Diff has shown a little bit more of a one-dimensional style, and when their core champions are banned away from them, they tend to struggle. And I think that kind of matchup, the strategic depth that PokeCard has, will come into play big time.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, we've seen again Support Diff when Bao, we saw him on a Poppy, for example, unable to claim victory with him on a tank champion. But we have seen, in their last game, it was not Bao, but actually Bop Mike Gu, I'm saying that right, on the Vayne with a pair of quadra kills. So maybe, they have found another path to success here, developing around their bot lane. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. Andrew, definitely someone that can carry a game if given the tools. So maybe Support Diff going to play around their bot lane this game. There it is.
Yeah, I'm actually pulling up Bot Maiju's match history right now, and I'm seeing a pretty nice a diverse champion pool here, getting some Poke Barrison, getting some Vayne, getting some Ezreal. So maybe this patch is time to shine. A lot of his champions performing very well this patch. I think one thing he has struggled with in the past was the fact that he is a bit of a Swain one trick, and Swain bot is extremely OP. I play it, and it's pretty awesome not having to get one shot by every other character in the game.
Right.
But it can be pretty different to learn how to play other characters, but I'm glad that he's finding success on these other characters. If Bomaichu becomes activated and becomes the secondary threat on this team, then support diff is really, really scary, because you can't just like camp bow and be like, oh, they can't win now, right? Like you actually have to deal with the top and the bottom sides of the map.
Yeah. And so, like I said, gonna be the obligatory Swain ban for Pokey card, and 2 of those 3 hyper carries that we talked about, or not. I guess Wukong's not really hyper carry, but regardless, just gonna be 2 of the 3 preferred champions for Bao Bao's in the Viego and the Wukong taken away. Meanwhile, for support diff, gonna be a pair of junglers. Olaf, not as much of a priority pick as before, still gonna be the first ban. For support diff, going to be followed by an Udyr and a Seraphine as well, which will mean that Humble Donut gets his hands on a preferred power pick in Hecarim.
Yeah, looks like that is going to be locked in. Hecarim perhaps impacted a bit by the jungle changes this patch, but I think has just shown to be really powerful in this tournament overall. And Hecarim's still certainly a very playable champion, by no means weak. Maybe less overbearing than he was last patch, but it's going to be matched by the Lulu Jax on the other side. So I wonder if maybe support diff, they're thinking we want to play around Bao, we're going to give him the split push threat. And then the engage of Poke cards become a lot less valuable if you have no one who can beat Jax on the side lane. However, I'm going to throw it out there that Malphite is still available, has not been banned, and is a very terrible matchup for Jax.
But he said he wants ADC.
Okay, so yeah, supportive here, showing their top lane pick very, very early into this pick and ban phase. Perhaps not wanting to have 2 more options being taken off the board, and then immediately slam down that Jax, which will mean that Pokegard has ample time and picks to counteract this potential split push presence coming out. Okay. So how's the Cho'Gath versus Jax matchup?
Cho'Gath versus Jax. This is one I'm not super familiar with. I'm a little surprised they're willing to commit to that. It's a very safe blind pick if they believe the Jax can be flexed to the jungle still, which is a respectable thing to play around. Cho'Gath is a very strong champion this patch. However, it does kind of play into the Vayne pick here, which was still on the table, and that's going to be locked in very promptly. So we have kind of an interesting situation here where we have a lot of CC coming out of Pokey card, and we have like the carry threats prioritized by support diff before they can be banned out second rotation.
Yeah. Senna going to be banned away here by support diff. Dustin, aka formerly OG Puppy Chow, now PC Puppy Chow, had a couple of really strong performances on Senna, but not going to be able to get his hands on that this game. Morgana going to be the preferred champion for Sawina, so going to it'd be interesting to see what she plays here now that that's off the table.
Yeah, Morgana is a really powerful champion and is so good at neutralizing players. Florizel has seen like a pretty strong roaming play, and Morgana is a way to trap him into that lane, constantly wave clearing, right? There's just no gameplay that happens when Morgana is your lane opponent. So I think it makes a ton of sense to take that off, and yeah, so you'd like challenge Suina. What else do you got? Like, what else do you have in your champion pool if you have to play the laning phase?
Yeah, so wow, another mid lane ban here, going to be Nico.
Ooh.
So Sawina gonna have to go into her bag here. Although not necessarily right now, she can still hold it for that last pick to get as much information as possible. Still missing a jungler as well for support diff ostensibly. But again, it could be that Jux. Nope. Okay, so it will be Sejuani in the jungle. Another preferred pick for Mo. This should be interesting.
This is a very spicy draft that we're seeing line up here. I thought for sure that they were committing really heavily into this split push angle with the Jax, but with the Sejuani, they actually have tools to fight here, and they also have a champion who is very happy ganking top lane, right? Because Sejuani passive does activate off of your allied melee champion autos, and you can set up that CC chain with Counter-Strike. Potentially really dangerous for that Cho'Gath. We'll have to be really careful about pushing up that wave. Ashe is going to be locked in. That makes a ton of sense. Get this strong ranged bottom lane that can bully Vayne in the early game. You have that sustain advantage to pressure out Lulu. And we're also going to see a Veigar locked in to seal out this team comp. I like this Veigar a lot.
Yeah, Veigar going to do a good job of stuffing a potential engage coming in from support Diff. That cage going to stop the Jax leap. Gonna stop the Sejuani charge in as well. So a well-placed Veigar cage gonna be a good disengage tool for Pokecard.
Yeah, another thing to keep in mind is that Veigar weak to assassins, but I don't think that's really in Sowina's champion pool. Veigar kind of loses to two classes of characters. Characters that are melee and then stat check him, and characters that are ranged and outrange him.
Right.
And Ahri's not really either of those things. Sure, she has the mobility that she can punish with charm if Veigar's out of position, but if you dash too far forward fishing for that charm, you get locked in the cage, you're just dead to Veigar ultimate. So it's a very unforgiving matchup to play from the Ahri side. Not necessarily a bad matchup, but a very difficult matchup to execute on. Veigar's job is a lot easier. He presses Q on the minions and then waits for you to overextend so he can cage you.
Right. No, definitely. And yeah, Ahri needs to be careful and be aware of that Veigar cage interaction, as well as she will not be able to ult through the walls. It will not only stun you, but it will stop your dash entirely. So gotta be careful that Ahri does not step into the cage or walk too close to Veigar there, or else it'll be very, very easy ganks for this Hecarim.
I think for me, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on this bottom lane. I'm really curious to see how Butmanchu does on non-Swain champions. And he's got a game on this Vayne. Has a lot of potential to make something big happen. He's going to be able to tear down this Cho'Gath in teamfights. He has Condemned to outplay Hecarim. So there's a lot of pressure on this Vayne to make a big impact in this game. And will also be the recipient of that Lulu steroid as well. So if Vayne is allowed to create that space in the team fight to shred out that front line to outplay Veigar cage, then that can be a big turning point in this game state. However, if Pokecard, they get their CC lined up and synchronized together, it's going to be very hard for Butmanchu to actually free hit in these fights. So that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye on is, does Vayne get to live, and does Pokecard leverage their CC to pressure Vayne out of the fight?
Yeah, will be interesting to see here if Cleanse is the option for Vayne, given the Ashe. I mean, just the Ashe alone, I think, is enough to, take Cleanse. But yeah, and then now you have the Hecarim Fear, as well as the Veigar Cage over the top as well. So if Vayne takes Cleanse, should have a decent time maneuvering these team fights, but if not, yeah, is at risk of definitely getting CC locked here. Meanwhile, I'm very interested to see this top lane matchup. Jax should have a decent time against the Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath with a Rupture can obviously just disengage Jax once Jax uses the Leap Strike. So Cho'Gath shouldn't be able to win in the 1v1, assuming Jax doesn't commit himself too far, but will be interesting to see how much farm he is able to get up against Bao. Okay.
Ooh, taking a look at the betting, support win had a huge lead for a while, but it suddenly swung in the total opposite direction. Pokecard now walking in with a 63% favored odds by our betting.
Yeah. So perhaps, going by the record, going by the book, going by the casters as well, you and I both favoring Pokecard here. So we'll see who ends up coming out on top. The underdogs, although just marginal underdogs, did come out in the last game. So we will see here as it's roughly shaping out to be about 2-1 in favor of Pokecard. But with only 5 seconds left on the spectator delay will mean that we do not have to debate for much longer and will instead just see what ends up happening on the Rift. So, betting is now officially closed, and we are going to load into Game 2 of the night between PokeCard versus Support Diff. PokeCard on the blue side, sitting at 5-2, looking to move to 6-2 and tie it up at the top of the standings with Andyland. Meanwhile, for Support Diff, if they come out on top, we'll put them in a 3-way tie versus Chili's Angels and PokeCard.
This is a very important match for both of these teams.
Indeed.
So we'll have to see what the outcome is.
Mm-hmm.
I put a spotlight here on But My Jew. Do you have a player you're looking at for this game, Roger?
I want to keep my eyes on both this Hecarim, who should have the advantage in the jungle matchup. Horse beats boar. And also on the Vigar as well. If you can start to get those stacks rolling, gonna do a lot of damage that has very little counterplay if you are Support Diff.
Yeah, that's for sure. Something that I'm a little bit on the fence about is I'm actually not sure which one of these teams scales better. Normally it's pretty obvious, and last game we had a pretty clear scaling advantage for Andyland.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I'm not sure. Vigar scales really well, but so does Vayne and Jax. And because of that, like, I think both these teams are going to fight for every single objective on pretty even terms.
Yeah. Whoa, I didn't know that this Artie skin, like, your running animation is actually just a fox. That's actually pretty neat.
Oh, yeah, that's
You're just
cute.
a completely different, like, model. So... Alright, gonna be a pair of 5-man invades coming out from both teams here. So should be able to get vision into their respective red buffs. And neither team will be any the wiser about the other team's movements.
Guess we do notice that these teams are of a slightly lower caliber than our previous match because neither team stacked in LCS order. Can you believe it, Roger?
For
Making
shame.
us change all the character models.
Hold on
the
here, gonna be
scoreboard.
5 members of Support Diff finding out a potential straggler in the
Oh, the
Cho'Gath.
charm missed!
Oh, but the Counter-Strike missed as well. And now the Rupture gonna be able to land onto 3 members here. Gonna mean that Jack's gonna be taking a ton of damage here.
Oh,
Q over the
Bao
top,
Bao's-
one more auto from the Ashe. Gonna be able to pick that one up. Bao Bao's not electing to flash there. Now the Charm gonna be used in futility. And now this Ashe needs to be careful as well. These Ashe arrows are just slowing down the retreat of Support Diff. One more auto. And Ari just gonna resign herself to her fate. Neither solo laner here for Support Diff electing to use their flash actually. And wow, a huge start here in favor of PokeCard.
That is a total disaster for Support Diff. Okay, it's not just these 2 kills here. Jax doesn't even have teleport, had to walk top lane late. I think even missed experience in the wave, which is disastrous in top lane. You're going to bleed so much CS because of the level difference. Mid lane held flash and then dies, and bottom lane's head, and Sidrani was low, so then she has to have a terrible start in the jungle. That puts Support Diff behind in every single
Cho'Gath gonna take a massive trade now, though. Rupture is gonna land and prevent more damage coming out from the Jax, which did proc Conquer. But still, we're seeing here a sign of what's to come. Oh my god, hits level 2 and immediately jumps back onto the Void Dinosaur.
Oh man, so greedy there by Asian SA. Does not play around the fact that he started his Rupture at level 1, and that makes you significantly weaker. If you have the spikes, Cho'Gath can happily trade against Jax, but with Rupture, you are not a champion for 8 seconds during the cooldown. So, bit of an overreach there by Cho'Gath is promptly punished by Bao Bao's, but Asian SA will be happy to farm under tower. We'll have that sustain to pick up the wave under the turret.
Yeah, Jax also taking a turret shot there in addition to the Rupture, so gonna level out the health lead just a little bit. And depending on how much CS Cho'Gath is able to pick up under the turret here, with that passive, we'll be able to sustain back up. And interestingly here, we are going to see a potential gank for Hecarim. This Jack's very, very overextended. Now the voice spike's going to be slowing down the Cho'Gath here, but now Cho'Gath is very, very low.
No!
Oh, but the flash auto not going to come through. Okay, we'll end up still being a trade of top laners here, but Hecarim there with the kill plus the assist gold for Cho'Gath, going to mean the gold swing is in favor of Pokecard.
Yeah, overall, I think if you're Jack, you're still very happy with that because you crash the wave, you bounce it, you pull jungle pressure at the expense of both your summoner spells. And if your Jack's trading those kills is good. You need to accelerate and become a force in this game. But that being said, isn't going to have too much of an item lead to show for it yet. So if Agent SA leverages his teleport effectively, right, not actually teeing back to the wave, so that's a very disciplined, very smart play, you only give up a few creeps. And it means that Cho'Gath can now take a really bad trade, shove the wave in, and then reset. And that means that Babos basically has to kill Agent SA twice here to have a real lead.
Speaking of, now going to immediately jump onto the Cho'Gath, going to dodge out from that Rupture, but there is a Hecarim here who still has not base, going to come in for a potential second gank here onto the Jax. Cho'Gath though very, very low. This Hecarim is still going to be confident to take this fight. Cho'Gath, they're going to be looking for the Rupture here. Able to hit it actually. The counter strike not going to be able to find the Cho'Gath. Will mean that Jax goes down again. So good return gank here. Now Sejuani looking to return the favor in the bot lane. Actually, Vayne going to eat this Soraka root, but now it's going to bait the Ashe to go in here. One more auto from the Sejuani will result in the stun. Going to be immediately cleansed out by the Ashe. So good play coming out for the Ashe, but now going to eat the Polymorph. But now this Lulu going to be overextended, going to be forced to use the heal from the Vayne. And now this is going to be just all the summoners being used here in the bot lane. Look, if you look at that, only Vayne with Flash left. Sejuani and Lulu using Flash, and Ashe used both of her summoners as well.
Yeah, no one's gonna die there, but overall, extremely favorable trade for Pokecard. They exchange summoners, they waste Sejuani's time, and most importantly, the wave here is amazing for Ashe. Vayne can't reset this in time at low health. The wave is just gonna be perfectly frozen by the time Ashe gets back to lane, and Vayne is gonna get destroyed. You cannot touch the wave for basically the next 3 minutes unless your jungler comes to reset that for you.
Yeah, definitely. We already saw
look at the wave.
Bit.
That's so sad.
Yeah, that is. Just to show the viewers here.
Yeah, give him a
good night. Good night.
If you are not familiar with some of these wave control mechanics, what's going on here is that because red side has more minions than the blue side, the wave won't come back. It's just going to kill the blue minions faster than the blue minions kill the red minions. And if Puppy Chow correctly positions the wave so it doesn't crash the tower, he can just keep the wave really far up forever. And if you're Vayne Lulu, it's so dangerous to walk up and farm that when Hecarim could be there at any moment. And lo and behold, Hecarim, bottom side of the map.
Yep.
Eyeballing that minion away.
Ashe is going to do the exact opposite of what you just told her to do. Going to immediately shove the wave back.
That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I think the call here for Pokecard is to get onto this first Infernal Dragon of the game, so they want to at least have some semblance of prio. I think honestly Hecarim could have just walked here and spent about a minute taking this dragon uncontested, and they could have still frozen the wave, but regardless, at least Vayne will be able to soak up some of this farm from what would have been an otherwise Arctic freeze coming out from the bot lane of Pokecard. Ooh, Cage gonna land here from Veigar. Gonna be a good trade here. And now okay, I was gonna say you need another trade here from Veigar before that Primordial Burst ult kills there, but electing to use it there more as an HP advantage. Now Ahri gonna be very, very low. So it will be interesting to see if Veigar can land a flash Q potentially, or just land another Cage.
I think that's actually a good use of Veigar Ultimate. Even though it doesn't kill, it means that Ahri can never go in on you without instantly dying now. So you're super safe from getting ganked, and you get your stack from damaging a champion.
Hold on, Sejuani going to potentially look top here now, though, and the Rupture does land. Good flash by the Cho'Gath, but the knockup from the Sejuani will land. One more auto is going to land in a stun, but now very, very close to tower. This Cho'Gath will go down, though, ends up eating the Ignite from the Jax, but Jax now going to get back into this game just a little bit. Good gank coming out from Ine on the Sejuani, and will mean that I was going to say that will mean Jax can get some tower plates as well, but elects instead to take the recall.
Yep. Ine pulling out some of those special tactics he was discussing in our pregame pulls off that top gank, isn't going to let Bao Bao's be the recipient of so many Hecarim ganks without returning some fire. And I think correctly, both teams recognizing the importance of the top lane matchup in this game. And with that, Bao Bao's is going to take it pretty decisively in this top matchup, despite a pretty awful start. Oh, hold that thought bottom lane.
Enchanted Crystals are going to be used in the bot lane here. Remember, no cleanse for the Vayne, actually. So we talked about that. It's going to mean that she is very vulnerable to this engage coming out from... Hold on, Sejuani is here, however, does not have that Glacial Prison available. So Soraka and Ashe should be able to walk away here.
Yeah, I don't think this is even a good gank. Like, sure, you have Glacial Prison, but your bottom lane's still level 5, and that's such a easy way to throw the game is if you overcommit, ganking the strong lane. I think one thing, this is a misconception people have in the jungle, is that, maybe I need to help my lanes if they're losing. You should not do that. The opposite of that. Because if you go to your losing lane... Speaking of losing lanes, here's Asian SA is a little bit behind here after those ganks. But if you go to the winning lane, right, you get your winning lane ahead, you get them further ahead, you take the tower. If you get counter gank, you can get a double kill because you're stronger, you're playing to your strong side, right? So junglers, you need to go to your strong side. If you go to the weak side, it's so easy to get nothing because your laners are going to be too weak to follow up on you. There's a lot of exceptions, of course, but...
Alright, Clovis, you're going to be ignored again because Sejuani is here. Condemn is going to force the cleanse out from the Ashe, but there is a Glacial Prison available very, very soon. Let's see if it lands. A charge going to be used first. So where's the Glacial Prison? One more auto is going to result in the stun. And now the Glacial Prison is going to be used. Good CC layering coming out from Mo. Jungle, different tactics, whatever you want to call it. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Jack's able to find the Vigar as well. So support Diff coming to life here in the mid game. Jack's not content to just kill Cho'Gath. Going to roam mid and find a Vigar as well.
Yeah, that's a big turning point in this game state. Support Diff suddenly has a lot of game here. They have got their Vayne back in the game. She's going to get waves. Their mid lane now has... I think they're even, because Vicar still has an enormous CS lead, and this is still going to continue to scale. So Support Diff is by no means out of the woods yet, but they have a way to actually challenge for these early dragons
Hold
now.
on. The Enchanted Crystal actually going to be tumbled into by the Vayne. Going to be followed up by the Silence as well. Going to get rooted here. Going to be forced to flash mash. Ashe will flash to match, but... the Wild Growth going to get Vayne to safety there. Wow. So Ashe coming back with a vengeance there. Going to force both summoners from the Vayne plus the Lulu ultimate.
Yeah, very nice exchange there by Pokey card. And it means that they're going to be able to crash this wave, take another plate. That's a lot of gold back onto this Ashe, who's going to be very difficult to answer by Support Diff.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about here is the play of this Hecarim thus far. Obviously has had success with 2 early ganks, but that has otherwise just been farming. We're seeing a little bit of those jungle changes come into play in the sense that this farming playstyle is not going to yield as much in terms of reward as it did pre-patch. Just in terms of the reduced EXP and gold. Meanwhile, Sejuani has really been finding success here with a couple of ganks in both the top and the bot lanes. So it will mean that this Hecarim, despite having the XP or the farm lead, is actually going to be even in terms of levels with the Sejuani.
Even for now, does have a slight experience lead, so it's about like a third of a level advantage. So if they fight at that decent, Hecarim will be a little bit ahead. But right now they're even, and importantly, they're going to be even for this dragon fight.
Yeah, we look at this triple control ward coverage. Hold on, meanwhile, Cage going to land onto Jax. Going to be a decent chunk of damage onto him as well. But this dragon going to go very, very low. Onslaught of Shadows, very, very hesitant to be used here by the Hecarim. We still have not seen him use his ultimate 12 minutes into the game, which in my opinion is a little bit disappointing after getting that huge tempo advantage in the early game. Hold on though. Oh no, are we going to eat the Vigar Cage? Silence on top as well. Now going to be forced to flash. Actually going to flash away from the Onslaught of Shadows and charm the Hecarim, but Hecarim has more than enough move speed to walk out of turret here, but there is a Sejuani in tow. Going to be able to land onto the Hecarim where buff is available as well. Going to force the Soraka ulti. Sejuani now just with the power of auto attacks going to try to solo down this horse. And will be able to find it. So good W flail there. Going to be able to solo kill jungle for jungle. But Pokey card here going to be able to find a plate in the mid lane. And now this Ashe going to be found out as well. Good flash, but ultimately no real follow-up unfortunately for Sejuani. Going to mean a wasted flash unfortunately for Mo. But nevertheless, decent play for the Sejuani, barring that oopsie flash.
Wow, these players don't want to give you a break, Roger. I'm having a hard time getting a word because
I'm so
everyone wants
sorry.
to keep fighting, but it's some excellent play-by-play coming out from Roger, holding down the fort. But yeah, that kill by Sejuani and Hecarim, that's an extremely consequential kill. Hecarim's worth a big shutdown and was kind of the big control point for Pokecard to stay in this game. With him dying there, the CS gap is totally gone. Sejuani's basically only down 3 camps at this point. That's nothing, and she has her Bami sign completed. Hecarim's only on 1 item, doesn't even have tier 2 boots, and we're gonna enter a mid game where sure Pokecard's ahead 2k gold still, but we're gonna have to see if support Diff can kind of centralize their position in the mid game and maybe challenge the Vigar scaling.
Yeah, indeed. Now, you know, normally you don't pay too much stock to vision score as a mechanic or as a metric for success, but what do you make of this Cho'Gath who, as of 30 seconds ago, had 0 vision score?
I mean, there's a lot of things we can say about it. I think it's really just a byproduct of Cho'Gath being behind. When you're behind and you're shoved in, you really can't ward. Like, what are you going to ward behind your tower? So his vision score is basically reflective of the fact that he could not maintain wave control against the Jax, which is pretty normal. There were a lot of kills that happened top lane, but none of them actually went to Cho'Gath.
Hold on, aggression here in the mid lane. Ari gonna use the ulti charm, not gonna land, but there is a Vayne and a Lulu here as well. Cage now gonna go down, and Ari gonna take a lot of damage, gonna be forced to heal from the Vayne, but a good roam coming in from the bot lane of support Diff will mean that Vigar goes down for a second time here. Good gank.
A bit of a misread on the map here. Ends up resulting in Florizil's death.
Hold on, gonna be a dive potentially onto the Cho'Gath as well. Rupture not gonna land. That's gonna be the anti-dive tool used by the Cho'Gath. Will not have that available for about 5 seconds, and Sejuani is waiting here. Hecarim gonna race down here as fast as he can. Rupture gonna be used again. Spatial Prism gonna go wide, however. Silence gonna prevent the counter-strike from being used just for a little bit longer, but yeah, this Hecarim has really not been able to exert his influence on the map. Teleport now going to come in from the Vigar. There is a Hecarim in tow as well with an Onslaught of Shadows available. Going to be able to land onto the Sejuani. The Jax is now squarely stuck in the cage. There is no Primordial Burst available, which will mean, though, that Hecarim is actually going to go down first. Wow! And the Soraka ultimate not going to be enough to save this horse from going to that glue factory.
Oh man, support Diff making a big statement here in the mid game. All their advantages kind of been thrown away. They've just punted back massive shutdowns. They're all going over onto this Sejuani. Maybe not the ideal target for your goal, but that's going to be a way to give them tools to start fights. And if they can keep fighting, keep taking these favorable engages, the Vigar is not going to have time to stack infinitely. And that's going to be really difficult for Pokecard if they have to rely on this Cho'Gath to match Jax at this massive deficit.
Yeah. Interestingly here, even with this kill lead for support Diff, Pokecard has maintained a solid grasp on the gold lead courtesy of their superior creep skills. We see a 40 we have a pause here. But anyways, we have a 40 CS discrepancy for the Vigar, a 40 discrepancy for the Vayne, somewhat offset obviously by the top lane in favor of the Jax, but even Hecarim here still maintaining a solid lead over Sejuani in terms of the farm department.
You know, if you take a look at the specific gold values, mid is a very slight lead for Florizel, about like 600 gold.
Right.
About 200 gold for Hecarim, because Sejuani has all these kills.
Right.
But really the story of this game is top lane and bottom lane. Cho'Gath is 3,000, sorry,
2,500.
Yeah, 2,500 gold behind this Jax. That's a lot. But on the other side, Ashe is like 3,000 gold up to, but no, about 2.5k up on Vayne. So those kind of cancel each other out. So we're going to really have that showdown between Puppy Chow and Bao Bao's. Can Bao Bao split push more effectively, or will Puppy Chow blow open these team fights with that sustained DPS?
Okay, so we're gonna see if we can answer that question here, as the Ocean Dragon is now spawned. One dragon apiece thus far for both teams. Will mean it looks like Support Diff, you're gonna concede the dragon in favor of a lot of tower pressure here. There is a Herald in tow for them as well. This mid turret's gonna die, so will be two turrets picked up here.
A massive overcommitment from PokeCard. They're going to lose so much of their base off of this dragon, and I'm not sure if it's worth it. That being said, they're looking to flank and punish this. They're not going to let these towers go uncontested.
Yeah, Support Diff gonna make the wise call to back off here. Just gonna escort that Herald. Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow gonna land onto Lulu. Also Shadows over the top as well. This Vayne is a little bit overextended. We'll see. The Science will gonna do so much. Lulu gonna be the first casualty here in this fight, but it looks like Hecarim will get killed here as well. Jack's gonna go in too far at this stage of the game. Not very, very tanky. And now look at this Hecarim just running riot. Gonna be able to pick up an ace for his team. So Support Diff, as I said, with that retreat call, unfortunately did not make the call fast enough, and that Enchanted Crystal Arrow landing onto Lulu meant that no wild growth was available. Gonna be a huge ace for PokeCard, who also picked up that Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, a bit of a no soldier left behind mentality coming out of Support Diff. I would expect no less from a team full of support players. But I think they definitely could have just walked away from that one. Like, yeah, it sucks. Lulu gets hit by arrow, but that's fine. That's like honestly the best person to eat it. You give them up, just leave, and you know. What does PokeCard didn't do? But this is just one kill. You're happy trading Lulu for 2.5 towers.
Right.
But because they say no, we have to save Lulu. We have to fight here. They fight in the Vigar cage and they get destroyed.
Yep. We saw the power of that Vigar cage and that very, very narrow choke. Jack's not able to really leap strike onto anybody. And at this stage in the game, still only on 1.5 items. Very, very squishy without that counter-strike available. We also saw there, basically, PokeCard were able to get what Support Diff got, plus a dragon. Both teams now with both of their mid-tier 1 and 2 turrets down, although obviously there is a slight HP advantage in favor of Support Diff.
Yeah, definitely an extractive moment in this game about why you do need to cut your losses. Definitely not solo queue, so you have that advantage of communication. You can play those risky fights with that coordination, but again, like, sometimes a lost fight is a lost fight. You don't need to dig yourself deeper into the hole. That being said, we kind of enter another kind of neutral game state. Jax is still ahead of this Cho'Gath, and we'll have to see if he's able to do something against the threats of Vigar and Ashe.
Yeah. So Ashe, with that most recent teamfight win, now sitting on both the Gale Force and the Runons, compared to just the Kraken Slayer, plus I assume a Blade of the Rune King is going to be the choice here for Vayne, courtesy of that Vamp Scepter. But a huge discrepancy in favor of PokeCard's 80 carry here.
Yeah, Ashe is going to be ahead so much here, and it's already finished that second item while Vayne is sitting on that Vamp Scepter. Very sad day if you are this Vayne, because sure, you can try and hit this Cho'Gath and hit this Hecarim when they're going on you, but this Ashe is going to eat the rest of your team alive while you're trying to survive.
For sure. Interesting to point out here as well, Jax does have the gold for Trinity Force, I'm sure, but electing here to try to look for a pick. Sat in this top lane Tri-Brush for a while, waiting for a potential Cho'Gath to overextend. Also interesting to point out here as well, let's take a look at some of the stacking games going on. Cho'Gath right now sitting on 4 stacks, 3 of which are minions. So he has 3 more stacks to go from minions. Did eat a dragon, has not eaten a champion yet. Meanwhile, for the Vigar, sitting on 207 extra AP courtesy of his passive. Ooh, hold on, gonna be a potential meet. Wow. Lulu and Hecarim just gonna wave at each other as they walk into each other in the bots, or in this topside jungle of Hecarim. Interesting.
You know, both of them will peacefully return to their battle lines. I don't know. Only can take fair fights here, but yeah, I think neither team has enough vision to know exactly what's going on, so neither of them are interested in that fight. Kind of an amusing situation, but it makes sense from both sides.
Yeah.
One thing we have to keep track of here is that Bao's is very ahead, but does not have teleport. Is chosen to take that ignite. It's going to give him a bit of heal cut to help deal with Cho'Gath, but it means he can never join an objective fight. He has to win on the split, and it's so hard to tower dive Cho'Gath 1v1. He's too much health.
Yeah, and also one interesting thing to keep an eye out on here. He has not shopped. He has a ton of money in his pocket. Hold on. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to land onto Lulu yet again. Onslaught Shadows over the top. This will be a very, very dead Lulu, but now there is a Sejuani in the backline as well. Vayne going to try to return some fire here onto Hecarim, but it will end up being a victory for Pokecard. Glacial Prison going to be used as disengage here for support Diff, and it should translate to a dragon here as well, as all 5 members are here and very healthy. There is a Soraka here available for Pokecard to sustain them back up. Meanwhile, Vigor Cage going to land on a Sejuani. Silence Cage over the top as well. Going to be the Runes Primordial Blast. One more auto from the Ashe. Going to be able to pick that one up. Plus the Gale Force. I think that actually was the Gale Force Bolt that picked it up, which will mean now with the Dragon handed over, it will be Ocean Soul Point for Pokecard.
They're going to be really happy with that pick out, and they're not done yet. They're turning their sights to the Baron buff. Sejuani is dead for 20 more seconds. Jax still hasn't recalled. How much gold is he sitting on?
3,000 at this point.
Oh, no, that's disastrous. He won't be able to have his full power for this fight, and I think it's just going to be a free Baron for Pokecard.
Looks like
never mind. They give up.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely on the cards there. Sejuani has now just respawned, but it still would be a 4v5. But
yeah, I think they were afraid because, like, I understand. Like, from our perspective, it's easy to say, like, oh, the Baron was free. From Pokecard's perspective, if you mess up and die in the Baron pit, that's a huge throw, and it's a risk they don't really need to take. They're already in a very comfortable position, so I understand backing out, eating the mid wave, making sure you don't lose that farm. You're going to have another try at Baron later, so easy for us to say with our full map vision that, oh, of course it was free, but they didn't know that Jax was sitting on 3,000 gold.
Yeah. What they do see now, though, is that Jax has both that Triforce and the Blade of the Ruined King. With that Phage, probably going to be building towards Sterix as his third item. So going to have a ton of presence in these side lanes, but crucially does not have teleport to join any prospective team fight. And that teleport is available for Cho'Gath.
Yeah, unfortunately for this Jax, I think that if both Cho'Gath and Jax are missing from the fight, Pokecard still has an advantage in the 4v4. And what that means is that HNSA never actually has to teleport. He is happy just hanging out under the tower, killing the minion wave, and making sure Bao Bao's can't do anything. And if he just neutralizes both of them, makes the rest of the map play 4v4, that's an extremely good fight for Pokecard.
Definitely. Ashe now going to probably build towards that Infinity Edge, has both the BF Sword and the Pickaxe in her inventory. Meanwhile, Vayne is still on welfare here, has not completed that, actually, will not be a Blade of the Ruined King, right? Because there's a Blade of the Ruined King does not build out a Zeal. Is there an item that builds out a Zeal and Vamp Scepter? No, right?
There is not, so maybe just sitting on the... Yeah, I'm not excited about this build. I think it's going to be Vamp into Phantom Dancer. That's what the Zeal and the Longsword implies to me. So maybe just sitting on the Vamp Scepter is sustained, but I agree, Roger, it does mean that that item completion is going to be coming 800 gold later than it normally would.
Yeah, this Vayne already struggling to really get into these fights, going to delay herself even more courtesy of some questionable choices at the outlets here. Going to mean that she will not have her second item completed for about another 1,000 gold.
Yeah. It also means that Vayne is pretty much never going to have QSS this game, and that would have been really nice to have.
Hold on, another Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to land onto Lulu. Lulu now going to force the flash to safety, and ooh, okay, use the Wild Growth on herself, more as a preventative measure than anything. But yeah, these Enchanted Crystal Arrows are doing a ton of work. Crucial Summoner down now for the Lulu, and then Enchanted Crystal Arrow cooldown at this stage in the game at about 80 seconds, going to be up a lot sooner than Flash, obviously.
Yeah, Puppy Chow has really been on point fishing with those, Roger. Definitely agree with that one. And it's been forcing so much pressure. It's been hitting Lulu every single time, which actually is the ideal target, right? Because if you ult anyone else, they get Lulu ulted. But if you ult Lulu, then Lulu had to flash because there wasn't anyone.
Gonna be a fight here in the bot lane. Jax still gonna get the rupture, which means Cho'Gath should be able to destroy it away, and actually gonna get the advantage in these trades, courtesy of some timely Frostborn Gauntlet procs. So Cho'Gath perhaps finding here that he is more than up to the challenge of standing up to this Jax in the side lane.
Yeah, another thing is that because there's no sustained magic damage threat, Asian SA is free, just stack our items. That's exactly what he's doing.
Yep. Ari not going to be very happy hitting the Cho'Gath. Obviously, Jax does have some mixed damage here. That W proc every third auto, all sources of magic damage, but yeah, not nearly as much as is necessary to really take down this very, very tanky Cho'Gath at this stage in the game. And now with Ocean Soul spawning here and a Cho'Gath with Feast available, could be the Ocean Soul handed over to Pokecard.
Yeah, the trouble here is that Pokecard already has control.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to land onto Jax here. Jax going to immediately force the flash. Ooh, okay. Calm before the storm.
Yeah, Jack's flash is a pretty big cooldown. I think you're actually happy making that exchange because Ashe is going to have so much more freedom now that Jack's flash is down.
Yep. Going to be very, very hard pressuring, and just still just vision dances here, generally being won by the side of Pokecard, able to just clear out these control wards being dropped here, and now they're going to start slowly pushing in. Actually, a double rupture going to land onto Sejuani. It will be that Lulu ends up being the one being caged, going to be way too far forward, and Lulu going to be the first kill in this fight. Jack's actually going to walk into the Soraka Silence Field. Onslaught of Shadows, though, ends up missing, goes the complete opposite direction. This Steris is going to try to buy Jack some time, but now it wears off, and this Vayne going to try to free fire, unable to find anybody, so actually able to find the Ashe, though, crucially flashing over the wall, and an auto over. Vayne is on a pentakill, but the blast cone into the wall. There we go. One more quadra kill. Gonna be a potential pentakill. Rupture not gonna land. Pentakill. Not yet. Okay, so no penta for the Vayne, unfortunately. Gonna be the third quadra for Bot Maigu in the tournament. Maybe he should just become a Jin main instead. Is in love with the number 4 apparently, but a huge team fight coming out from Support Diff. Some crucial Vayne positioning there, plus an Onslaught of Shadows that was used as peel as opposed to dive meant that this Vayne was allowed to fire. But a huge play coming out from Andrew on the Vayne, gonna get Support Diff back into this game.
Yeah, strategic misread there by Pokecard. They understand that Jax is on the flank, but they try to turn around.
Hold on,
and
Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to hit again. Silence Field over the top, going to land onto both Ari and... Oh my goodness, this is a very, very low Baron. Oh, I would have loved to see the Star Call steal the Baron, but this Vayne going to be offered as the sacrifice. Baron does end up being taken by Support Diff at the end of the day, but this fight may not be over yet. This Hecarim is still on the charge. Lulu going to be using the Polymorph to try to get away here. Okay, that should be all she wrote for that chapter of the game. Whew.
They get the Baron, but at what cost? Bamaichu is dead for another 30 seconds, and with that man advantage power play, Pokecard is looking to tear down the mid inhibitor.
Alright, Stun going to land onto Sejuani here. Going to donate a couple more AP over to the Veigar, but now they are going to try to go in here. Rupture not going to land. Trying to get the members of Pokecard here. Okay, Glowstone Prince is going to land onto the Ashe here, but no Counter-Strike going to land as well. Will mean that Ashe lives to fight another day. Actually, no Summoners being used there, and the Veigar Cage going to land on Ari again.
What a terrifying fight, and even though Pokecard doesn't get anything for this, Support Diff is going to be hard-pressed to actually do anything with this Baron. The waves are not set up appropriately, and they're not in position to defend their waves, so top and bot are going to push back out. They can try to siege through mid, but I think Pokecard is pretty happy just stalling out this Baron and then playing for Ocean Soul one more time.
Definitely. Yeah, again, like you said, I'm hard-pressed to see where exactly Support Diff can use the Baron here. Maybe though. Actually huge! Actually jumped into the cage! So Jax jumped into the cage before it armed itself. There is that half-second delay there, which meant that Jax, with the increased move speed from the Triforce, is able to stun up that Veigar, get a crucial pick, and now this Hecarim going to be found out by the Vayne as well. Hecarim going to be condemned into the wall. Onslaught of Shadows going to mean nothing. QSS going to confirm what was already a dead Hecarim, and now Support Diff just coming to life with a couple of crucial picks on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, Support Diff really waking up, and they are pretty much for the first time in this game in the gold lead after a disastrous start to this game. Pokecard getting a little bit impatient, getting a little bit greedy. They don't recognize they just need to stall out this Baron, dying at the critical juncture where they need to just do literally nothing except die, and with that, they're going to be struggling to hold their
Jax
base.
Is very confident here. Oh my goodness gracious.
No.
Good night, Jax. Good night, Soraka. That is just 4 autos apiece, and this might just be the game.
Yeah, I think it very well may be, Roger. But gonna try to save it with Florizel, but not enough damage to one-shot, and
yeah, they need
going
to
try and wave clear.
Yeah, Baron available for about 30 seconds here for Support Diff. Ashe available in 22, Soraka available in 17, so 20 seconds apiece about for the pot lane. No Pokecard here. Good cage, going to dissuade any more aggression onto the Hecarim. And now Sejuani going to walk in, actually. Unfortunately, Vigor does not. Oh! But it does have enough burst, sorry, with the Luden's Tempest proc to be able to pick up the Sejuani. Jax, though, now going to try to go aggressive onto the turret here, able to pick up both Nexus turrets. Let's see if they go for the end here. Devastating Charge going to shove Jax away, and it looks like it will be a retreat here for support. Diff should be able to pick up this mid-tier 3 as well. So, both side lane inhibitors down for Pokecard. Going to mean a ton of pressure for Pokecard that they have to deal with. Meanwhile, support Diff should be able to reset here and pick up their soul point, barring a just miracle. Wow.
Yeah, they're gonna be farming these side lanes, and it's gonna looking a lot harder to challenge for this Ocean Soul point than it was before. Seconds are on the timer, and with these terrible waves in the open nexus, I don't think there's any world where Pokecard tries to go for this other than a steal. And honestly, even if they do steal it with Hecarim dead, there's a very strong chance that support Div just ends the game 5v4. So I think if you're a Pokecard, you just need to be patient, you need to be disciplined. You just do nothing. You just hang out in your base farming the waves, you let your inhibs respawn, and then you have one last try to win a team fight and close out the game.
Yeah, definitely. Now they do see Jax in the top lane, which means they can engage confidently in a 5v4 situation if they do elect to send that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They need to make sure that they engage before these super minions crash into their base, but it looks like that will not be the case. So I'm going to be potentially setting up for a Jax here, actually. And Supportive, meanwhile, not interested in the Dragon whatsoever, as Soul Point means nothing to them. Going to instead try to pressure this last inhibitor standing for Pokecard. And Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to land, going to be immediately cleansed away from, though, by the Ashe. And now the engage is going to turn around onto the Hecarim. Hecarim going to go golden, going to go into stasis. Glacial Person going to land onto Cho'Gath, but now there's a Jax here, going to be able to flash onto the Ashe, and cleanse means nothing here. Going to go down here. Vigor looks to be the next target. Cage not going to be too much here. Going to go golden, but will eventually get picked up. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Support Div will pick up the win here over Pokecard, courtesy of an absolutely massive dragon fight to really tip the scales back into their favor, and this Jax, we're gonna run away with the game afterwards. GG to Support Diff.
Man, what a heartbreaking match for Pokecard. They have an enormous lead from level 1. They get 2 free kills. Sejuani's behind and the advantage top lane, but unfortunately they're just not able to convert it. There's a bit of indecision in the mid game that allows Jax to get an enormous flank. Bamachu gets that quadra kill, and it totally turns the game around off of one fight.
Yeah, let's
there's
see how
just
that
no
happened
way to
again.
answer Bane afterward.
So again, we were giving the advantage here over to Pokecard in this Dragon Dance, clearing out a lot of good vision, forcing the Jax flash out on the flank there with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow as they push forward onto the 4 members here of Pokecard. A crucial cage trapping in Lulu. So, yeah, Lulu stepping up here. This was a very, very dead Lulu very, very early on. But afterwards, this is the Vayne show. Vayne here stepping just outside of cage range, just pouring in as many autos as she can on whoever she can. Actually going to tumble in, though, for a crucial kill onto Ashe, which really swung the fight over the wall, playing very, very safe. Good flash out to dodge out from the Vigor damage, and then eventually able to mop up here against a very, very squishy Cho'Gath. But Jax, ever the scumbag, is going to take away that pentakill. But this was the fight that really turned the game around for Support Diff. So kudos to the Vayne and the Jax and the Ahri there for sticking through it, despite what looked to be a very good start coming out from Pokecard.
Sorry for my background noise. My dad is actually playing League of Legends in the same room as me.
You're all good. You're all good.
So he's playing a very exciting game, evidently. But yeah, that fight going really well for Support Diff. They turned that one around completely, and really it all comes down to that Jax flank, which Pokecard did not quite realize was happening. It was too late, and there was confusion, right? That chaos is what happens when you're on that split push, when you're on that flank. And because they try to reverse their battle lines and turn back onto the Jax, suddenly Pokey is in the front of the fight, tanks Sejuani ultimate, and instantly dies. That's the nail in the coffin, because if anyone else tanks that Sejuani ultimate, it's a totally different fight.
Yep. the Onslaught of Shadows there could have been used onto 3 members of support Diff. Instead, just tries to get used onto 1 member of Pokey Card. And by that time, Jax already jumped away from the fear landing zone that would have come through from that Onslaught of Shadows, which meant...
Yeah, and they don't even kill Jax. It's so sad.
But yeah. All in all, though, a very, very good game played by both teams. Both teams definitely had a shot of winning it. Ends up being support Diff victorious in the end. So for the second game in a row, the underdogs will come out ahead as far as betting odds go. So congratulations to those of you that bet on support Diff. Yuri X Hazard, or Hazard, whatever it is, congratulations. You are able to now roll for that Primordial Winged Spear in Genshin with your newfound riches. Okay, let's hear from the victorious team. So anyone that you particularly want to hear from, Clovis?
Yeah, I mean, let's get Butt Mine Shoe and Bao Bao's in here. I'm excited. Oh, actually, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Let's do it. So I'm gonna drag them both in here very, very slowly. So there's Bao. You've been kidnapped, Bao. Don't say anything that would get me TOS'd on Twitch. And there is Mr. Hold My Dick, aka Bop My Shoe. However you say it. Congratulations to the pair of you and to your team for picking up that huge win. Definitely was a roller coaster game. My first question gonna go to Andrew on the Vayne here. Andrew, are you sure that you're not actually a Jhin main at heart? Because you cannot for the life of me pick up a pentakill.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I honestly have such a hard time playing ADs that kind of stand, far back and whatnot. I'm not the conventional ADC player, I'd have to say.
Wait, what?
But so Vayne then is your natural inclination. How are you able to just get so many quadra kills on this champion? That's the 3rd one in this tournament already.
I would have to give it to my teammates. They do an excellent job of peeling, and I guess one thing that I've noticed is a lot of these teams that are drafted tend to be tanky. So, and almost if I'm able to stay alive, we're able to do a lot of work. So, props to my teammates, and yeah.
All right, so yeah, the Vayne humble again. Will be interesting to see if we get that quadra kill counter ticking up and up, or if you're finally able to claim that elusive pentakill. Would be the first pentakill of the tournament if memory serves. Meanwhile, for Bao, the stealer of said pentakill definitely could have handed it over with a little bit more patience. What were the comms like in that moment?
Wait, what team fight was this?
When you stole the penta.
Wait, when was that?
When Vayne got the penta at Dragon, and then there was a Cho'Gath left, but Vayne took the long way around, so you just jumped on Cho'Gath and killed him. Was Andrew like, yo, give me the penta, or was it just like, alright, it is what it is?
Wait, we weren't even talking about that.
Dude, deadass, we weren't even saying a single word.
Wait.
So focused.
Just no communication, just
no,
telepathy.
Just
Pure
click,
synergy,
click,
man.
click.
Oh my god, wow, okay, the silent assassins. I do want to ask you about this, Jax. It was a bit of a bumpy ride in the early game, but you were able to really get back into the late game with that crucial double kill onto the bot lane of Pokey Card. So, do we have to add Jax now to the list of champions that we have to ban away from Bao?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can't ban everything, so.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah. So another option for teams to think about. What else do you have up your sleeve about that, teams can't ban away from you that you're still holding out on us for? Anything?
No, that's it.
That's
I've shown
it?
everything I got, man.
Vlad, Wukong, Viego, Jax. Nothing? Are you sure? You're not just being modest? No? Alright, I guess, okay, alright. Okay.
very hesitant to reveal any more of those different. How did Mo put it, Clovis? Different strategies, different gaming strategies. So, yeah, gonna come out victorious there. Well, good job to the pair of you. Congratulations again on the win over Pokey, which does put your guys' team in a 3-way tie for second place at 5-3, joined by Pokey and Chili's Angels. Okay.
Pog.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say to your? Yeah, I think you guys have a good presence here in the Twitch chat. So anything you guys want to say to your fans?
I will try my best to win the whole tournament. No cap.
No cap. Why are we getting legit porn posted in? What are these ASCII? Fuck, Jesus Christ, Rahul. That is literally TOS.
We want to just let everyone know to just, wish Selena luck. She's trying really hard to roll for a spear in Genshin Impact.
Oh shit.
And
okay.
She needs everyone's energy.
Oh, okay. So, everyone send your energy to Selena as she's rolling for the spear, like she's rolling on the weapon banner.
Yeah. The Jade Wing Spear, whatever it's called.
Does she have Xiao?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just she really wants it.
I see. Okay,
Please
so
keep her in her thoughts.
pray for Selena. Just hit, indeed. Okay, well, thank you to you both, and congratulations again. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will bring our stream to a close for tonight. A pair of quality games taken by Andyland in Game 1 and Support Diff in Game 2. We will be off for the weekend as there is Clash, so all of these teams here looking to get more practice time in. And then we will be back again on Monday, if memory serves, and we'll really start getting into the swing of things. Should have a game a day starting next week for the foreseeable future. Let me double check here. As always, though, you can all check my Twitch description. I will have the upcoming week's worth of games listed, so you'll know exactly when to tune in. And then other than that, we will bring the stream to a close. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for the game. It was fun. Okay. Let me double check again the schedule. So our next broadcast here will be, Monday the 22nd at 9 p.m. and then we will have a game, at least one game a day until March 5th, which is the next Clash. So stay tuned as these teams vie for playoff positioning. Again, the top 6 teams will make the playoffs for Season 2. The bottom 2 teams will unfortunately have to drop out. And then the top 2 seeds will get buys. So we might see potential tiebreaker situations come into play as well. So going to be interesting to see. All of these games still matter. All of these teams still very much in the playoff picture. But we're going to see how that shapes up over the coming weeks. With that, that should bring tonight's stream to a close. Thank you to everybody for coming through, for watching, for supporting our players. We'll see you guys on Monday. Clovis, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, thank you so much to all the players. Thanks for all these wonderful games. It's really just a joy to watch these back and forth matches, and I'm excited to see how competitive this league is. I'm going to be sad to see some of our teams leave us as we enter the bracket stage, but we've seen so much growth from so many players, and I think it's really cool that a tournament like this, we get to spotlight and showcase a lot of these players, and so many of them have gone so much better over the course of just a few weeks. So
definitely
really exciting to see from this end.
Yeah, both individual and team-wise, we're seeing a lot more cohesion. So
will be fun to see that development play out even further over the few weeks. But all right, thank you to everybody for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday at 9 p.m. PST. Good night, do it big, and hug your homies.